due to some changes we met this morning, we are a little bit confused. Normally we start the program, the worship at 12 o'clock. But today, since we have this event, we moved this worship service at 10:30, and now we are even late for 10 minutes. It's okay. Pakaya Payan, Patin Patna Hawaii. If we count, we cannot count the goodness of the Lord, His blessings. There's no one who can measure the love of God. So today, even as we come together in His presence, let us all be reminded of God's goodness, God's faithfulness, and His blessings, His abundant blessings in our lives. So as we begin our praise and worship, I would like to request everyone who can stand with us. Please stand with us and we'll sing some songs. Before that, let me have a word of prayer. Vanam kapau kaputin hepa nalung si na katsang ovin kahin ko hitui me kutabang changlo ka a beijing the mangjing the hin ko ahin la nangin nei veng ovin nei ching ovin lung si he pinan kamau na pu o pakai tu ni ko zong dam ser ne mo so vin hitabang chanlo pin ai chan sa zalun ka ki pa namin ka thang ba he vanam kapathi kapatin hepa tu ni in nang so kahin bial ko mo ba nang ma kahin ho ko mo ba adi parenting class kahin ni na dingohin happy na dim pakai nang malung sin na lagaw thing thil bol thin na chun kamau hin puin lang nang ma in kala ba ni he sa lung thon ni he sa win ting ka ta win hi tun pha jom chakhat lung thip pum pya nang ka ba choi thin na dingovin nalate music instrument ho kakam kalai ko ho la kahin ho phat thei ko na than ni mang cha win lang haga win hin bilung katia Atun pen pakai Yesus Kristus minaka thuna hi. Amen. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Eh, bago na sama sa atin na. Di ngay dalong se bidang so se ke begin. my chains are gone. I've been set free. My God, my Savior, has transformed me. And light of life, His mercy reigns. Unending love, amazing grace. Amazing grace. Shall we all close our eyes? We're going to sing to everything. And let us all pray in our heart. Let us all give thanks to God for what He has done for us, for what He has done at the cross of Calvary, for what He has done in our daily lives, and for what He has prepared for us. Let us praise God. Let us all praise God. Pakai patian na thang ba uti. Cross ay holding ay pi na bol hita. Ding la ikin hin kuai patian holding ay pi bol pi ba. Patin ko makipatho na safety. Iti si actually lo ton so na tikilo na kilo na kente ha sa kiletsa ki se kilo na gam e good piu na ga do na kipatho chom sa na safety. Let us praise God for a moment. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for what you have done for me, for your love, for your grace that has been shown to you at the cross of Calvary. Oh God, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, for opening a huge door so that I could come into your presence and praise you all. Oh, hallelujah. Kakipagipag kahinkoy. Tuy may kutabang amang taling ahila pa ka inalungsin na siya. Oh, tunay ka mo. It's a Calvalo to Tulsa na dinga kinet na hizing kiyam tero toy telo. Living hope. Oh, that will never fail. Living hope that none of the people in this world could have. I have it through the blood of Jesus Christ. Na tin san zala vai ti va noi mi ten anei zolo na chan zolo chan pha chan hoi ta nei chan sa nung sen na man tam nei chan na van bolo ding na chan nei sen na ke pa e ko ni ka hin na pumpi nang makra kong tinani na man luk sen ni oh tu tinggal hallelujah all of you na laupi na tupi na kidangin na tilbol the na ho mihim kami na say zo go lai pon mihim lungai ton angai to zo go lai pon na lung se na hi ate pi be lung se na hi hallelujah na men tin katang ba na hi amen dunia o he pa na kyang bula nei hi pui khomo to te hanin pakai na lung se he pi nan ka programo hi tua ma ba na lai changa hin nei ki to pi ne pi vin lang a hi di a tu ni class a elam kai dingo kaso pite ni uzong nang malagaw thi po na le pi na en na hindin pi a na hin mancha a mundang la phat danga na sata na mancha sang a hoi zo la phazo anang na hin mancha a ke ho zo si a dinga o pakai phat zo na ta a hi te na dingin ka program hi a vel nang malum se he pi na ko dai da en ka ba choi ka thang ba na ho yu nam tuya na keng bulong lu da ke ho ding ala gaw hal na ke pa na hi dingin na pa te wo na pa kai hi sun ka thu ni amen we may be seated
Oleh head mabang vintu nihi sate kol ding dan nu lepa le sate ke ka iti ki vai hom de ham ti ichi program yung dong tawin amasain kha khamle kimberly lam to nen bon sain di hanin nan khun pe na to ga peute amani hi in phun da bang katin hung jing sa ahon jin i ho dinga kidang chom do hi na ma wang dunia hi e hil diu hi thil kidang he chule e hil diu ho hi na pha hi lam pi pha hi ti hi ana gel do pumin taw na to tun na pong jing tin amani jong hi ta banga schedule han hi atara tai hi iho tip na le iho ko na asal hana ahung zein chumana ki pathu sei kidin bon zawin a family chunga pathenin lopina hi peke tawhan tuin offering anela ko mu hitin chu ting le ke man tawna hin ning ke tin na tawna ni chu ting le chapong ho chu no ho na class wa achi diu hin te chule phun do lawa kho tham khat chikal ji hin seng ka ten pathin lu se nen kitaw na wasangin tu komin tha thang le khai min jong rema kumni course graduate ein montan friday ni jun khot be da khan bi ga apike no te na pathin ma pinai chan na we chule ina tau jingu phasa ina tau wa pastor on mangte green card munathei dinga ina tau yong chu step khat actual be in ama hon green card apply about in the dig win approval like mukeden chong chu pathini tau naw san pe na ka be apike no te to hi abana hi green card apply u le thai ja thong du ham bang ka pun IPP hong le kho lai ta tung hi kin hin sum la bai du na lai ta EP hong le ta banga bol thei de din mona yum ji bin pathinin e hu pung ho e lu se dun e taw na sa ding ti to ka se do nom ki he chule ke ni jong 17 le in lama mission trip ma chi din kai hanin in sung kin le dong to mission trip to ka thu lon ning in taw na nin gel to si bin lang hello chun to ka nomin pa hi nga chom cha taw na ne te e ngai lu ba hin jing ka pathin na lung sin na ka sang bin tu ni hin pakai di ku khat kan ti buwa jale nang man tu ni chol nga ni pu ni pinau to ke honin kadin mundingu nei phasa ta jiun na min thi ka thang ba na hi hapta le hapta ke kal sunga hasan na buina ai lo ai le ki pa na tampi ka tu na ba jong nang ma hi ka pathinu nong hi jingin hi ti chun mal som na le na pathe na to dunia hilai hu win thing sunga ka hum wa na wa choi la ka sa ba na min thing ka phun do na wa jhin nang ma hi pathi na hi na le na hoi na na phat na he mu sa win ang ki pa thu ka sai ki na he sto ki han jin jin ka pathe dunia nang ma hum la bina a ni tu adida soma hian nang mai chamen nang jong le pakai nang man ta sa dam ni pi wa na to thina nang man ni pi wa ta banga chu ka to menu ka tha menu nang man ni pi tham tham ho nang ma gel do jina le apathin ka pathin na hi na pakai phot chin na ta banga sumla pa hin choi ka ho jo si soma hian nang mai chamen hian nang missionary hian nang pi jong le pathi nang man azad do mal som na pering ka taw ki na hi koi tabang kha tulai time he pa hitabang a pinum tun na chance ni nai lo ai lo ai le basic ji ham dam mo ji ma tu nang ko phei lo ho a pi thi nai lo ho jo ka pa thi nang man mo jong dam na hin piring in ka taw ki nei e ji sum da pa ho hi phom cha hi jo la pa kai nang man phat thi ni bu pi wa na lengam ke be na ding le nang ma lengam na ka to na wa hi ji pbc ho bungin ministry ka man cha na te ho missionary ka so na te ho chuli iza kai na lengam macha le dinga ka to na te ho jo so phathe ni bu pe de binti iya na chu chan la pau pakai jesu mina ka thu mo hi chapong ho chu class ar ji thi wei te
Okay. Tua hi cha te ho si si chu na. Cha te ho si si chu khang lai ho mo pu pi bin tin na mo ni pi bot pi ding hong. What kind of activities you are going to have, we don't know. Youth leaders will take care of you. It's cha te ho si si anapor vil lang. Go ahead to the fellowship hall. Cha te ho si si all the kids. All the children, please go to the fellowship hall. Don't go outside, okay? Just go ahead and wait for the leaders to come over here and take care of you. So I hear program schedule is just like some schedule. So I don't know. To schedule the I hear. Oi pukha kamle oi pi Kimberly na mani ni brains ki bone, but we have a short break, 15 minutes break in between. So please see that, and then at the last, I don't know how are you going to wind up, but I want to close with a benediction because Pastor and family is going to India on Tuesday. So I want Assistant Pastor Hesse to be pray for that especially. Okay, please give time for that at the closing. And we don't put any question hour, this and that, so it's up to you. Okay, thank you. What about the wireless? James, the other one?
How are y'all doing? Good. Thank you. Now I can sing the songs. That's cool. All right.
Hello. Yeah, it works. We feel very much part of the family, so we don't think we need self-introduction here. Even though in the program we say it's parenting, we might not touch that part yet. The reason is we want to start from the very basic of it, okay? For example, like this building, it's really nice, but the foundation is very important, okay? The four cornerstone is very important. So in order to be a good parent, you need a very good foundation. We need a very good foundation, okay? So we're going to start from a very basic. So today we might not even touch parenting class, okay? We might not even finish talking about myself or yourself, because that's the basic, that's the foundation. So to begin with, we say you, okay? Like in our doctrine beliefs, there's like Father, Son, Holy Spirit, 3 in 1, Trinity, okay? When God created human being, He created us in the image of God. When it says image of God, I don't think it's the face or the height. Because if God created us like His face, you would be like, how many faces did God have, right? But I think He made us with the Trinity version of us, which is spirit, body, mind, or spirit, mind, body, okay? So in order to be a very productive person, in order to be a healthy person, these 3 things has to balance, okay? In 1 John chapter 5, verse 7 and 8, it's also said that we are witnessed by 3, okay? There is Holy Spirit, water, and blood, okay? So whenever God works, it's in 3 in 1. Do you guys get that? That's the foundation of it. So most of the time when we become Christian, we focus on this and we ignore these 2. Okay? So with the studies that have been done, it is learned that sickness, like 30% is shown on the body, the 70% of the real sickness comes from the mind. Does that make sense? So these 2 are very important as much as it's important to the spirit. So these 3 has to be balanced. Okay? You cannot be over-spiritualize everything. You are still in flesh and blood. If you spiritualize everything, something's going to go wrong. Okay? I've been dealing with some of our parents who think that by prayer, by fasting prayer, everything would be fine. No, it's not. I'm
gonna put some stuff into there because I'm a person of prayer and I love praying, and I can spend a few hours in prayer just praying. So I'm all about prayer and I'm all about worship and all of that, but at the same time I also take my medicine. You know what I mean? Like I do my spiritual, but because I went through cancer treatment, my thyroid got messed up, so I have to take medicine for that. I mean, yeah, I pray all the time for it to go away, but it hasn't gone away, so I take my medicine, okay? But I also make sure that when it comes to my mind, I'm not very stressed, okay? I gotta watch my stress level, okay? Because if I don't, then I'm sitting there like, Swan David, you know, I start yelling at him, or I'm like, oh, Trinity, why'd you do that? And I get really upset, and I'm like, wait a minute. That has nothing to do with what they're doing. It has to do with me and not releasing my stress. So, sorry. So, like when it comes to the mind, it's facts, right? So, the facts are, I am stressed, right? Let's say I went to work and, sorry.
Do you guys, everybody understand English here? Do I have to speak in our language? No, I don't speak Burmese. Okay. So should we just continue with English or? No, hoy. A little bit. Okay. Okay. Let me be for Okay, let me summarize. Okay. So they want you to speak in English or they want you to speak in Zongkang, so they both get it. Okay, I let talk dina atupat na kong yan pinang kipantang ninin mo. He ibiakin pen hoi ma mai we. It depends on the foundation, okay? The four corners pen tupi ma mai we. A foundation na kip kele. Hui piong nung buat piong nung chapung di ngay we. A foundation na kip le hui pi buat piong nung chana. Tuwag zaway mo. Tuwada na, pasyanin na, bata pa kasyan ko, 3 in 1 mo. Tuwada na, mihing tiyang bola, ama alim le mer sunang bola chipin, imeli puwa media ulo kayo. Lungsim ka, pumpi yung piyayo. That's spirit, body, mind mo. Tuwada nga, First John, chapter 7, verse 7 le 8, abang chiyam chile. Witness chipan lapin si santo khasyang to tui to ateng hi cheve. So if you look at the Bible, it's always 3 in 1, okay? So you and I nang le kay pian pa tapa khasyang to thumgom khat pasyan na ma abhay mga pasyan lim surang ki bol lapin nakha napun pinalon sim to ateng ina mihingang bole. Okay? Tay pa na hi nakha gwa pin thupi lowe. Na body buak na thupi sang lejong piang lo na lungsim buak na thupi sang lejong piang lo aya nga hiten thum pen achidam form okay he in foundation zong mo a corner stone de pen akitwa ki level siang ailong ki pai okay so in the same way if your spirit body and mind are all balanced then you would become a healthy person okay nida nga ai Christianity tung la Christianity cha tu na khem pyo everything is fine ki mo mi khen katin za tuizong no no lo ile that's wrong tu cha la to kits no lo tu na mi khen katin okay if you're truly the son of God if you're a truly believer if you truly accept Christ mo na pian thak tak tak le lung sim na nei lo di hi te depression nei lo di hi te khakham ve lo di hi te deep ko thei lo di hi te khasyang tu na suwa mi chi that's wrong. To azong man lo way. Me now we still have depression, we still have anxiety. Okay, we have to accept that.
It's kind of hard to follow after Zopao because I have no idea what he just said. So how am I supposed to follow that? So anyway,
I'll translate. How about it in
English? You translate to English?
Yeah. No.
So I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, but yeah, like we have to always to be a whole person. Okay, we want 100% of ourselves, right? So this, I'm not a mathematician, just to let you know. My worst subject was math. I'm just gonna let you know. This is like 33 point some %, right? This is 33 point some %. And 33 point some %, right? So to have all of it to be 100% you have to address each one.
Michidam ma mani danga mo kham kum pilung simpen za nai thinanga na khalam jong som thumlet point ong hi ngai mo na lung sim chidam na jong som thumlet point bang sai among ngai na pum pi chidam na jong som thumlet point bang sai among ngai to ding gom changa za chidam hi.
So if we look at person number 1, this person is like really cool. Like they actually pray on their own time. They go to church. They do events. They do all these things. Okay, so they're pretty cool with God, right? So they got that 33 point some %, right? Then what they forget to do is when they go to church, they eat all the donuts and they eat all the stuff and they don't ever really work out because they don't have time for that, right? So maybe they have only about 10% here, okay? And when it comes to mind, they actually, they talk about their stuff, they go to counseling, they deal with their stress, they know coping skills, all that stuff, so they're good with that, right? But that doesn't make up 100%, that's low 100%, which low I know means negative, right?
Dia na mi khat pen mo akhalama khami ma thu jong ngen tang an tang khong a jong pai tang biakin jong pai tang som thum na thum chinga chingimo ayanga apum pilam pena biakin khong a dona dong cha dona khong ne mango apum pi anek adon pen kisum lo we mo to changa zum khong me ke mo ayanga hi alung sim lama pen lung sim chidam ni nga jong counseling khong pai ke ina hi ke bang hi to jong som thum le thum bang ngai we ayanga za tum tuan lo bangang ya mi chile ya nek le dona ma kisum lo discipline le mo.
But then you have person number 2 who they go to church and do things, but they're not there. You know what I mean? They're not really connecting. They're kind of like they're on their phone. They're doing their own thing. Their mind is somewhere else, stuff like that. So let's give this person like about 20%, right? And then when it comes to their body, they take their medicine because they got high blood pressure. So they take their medicine, stuff like that. So and they work out and they try to eat right. I mean, yeah, every so often you need to have that donut, but not all the time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, every so often they do, but they basically hit that mark, okay? Well, that's on the other side. See, I told you I'm bad at math. So anyway, and then when it comes to the mind, they know the coping skills. They know all the things they have to do. They kind of work it out. You know, they kind of, okay, baby, I need a moment. Mama had a bad day, I need a moment. So they do their own thing, stuff like that. So they're doing pretty good with that, right? But it's still, you're still missing something.
Ani na pa chumo ki khom jong pai ayanga ki khop cha jong akhalam jong to za vehicle lo phone khong enen lelina amina mo mi mu na kilom din cha na ki khom le mo to pen som thum nga zo lo ayanga apum pi ai le ab workout khong bo za tang jong lo jong phataka ne na to cha ong pau di ke me to cha na ka zo pau ong ki khek lel dei mo to cha. It's okay, right? Thank you. So, alung simjong pongman din mo, kaya nga za nga azulo.
And then we have person number 3, okay? That they go to church, they really focus on Christ, they're really good with that, all right? So we got 33 on that one. And then with their body, they work out, they get up every morning, they do their thing, they eat what they can, you know, well, not everything they can, but they eat good, okay? So we got like 33%. But when it comes to the mind, like they get stressed at work, they don't know coping skills, they don't want to face it, they don't want to tell anybody about it because they feel shame about it. So they don't really want to say, hey, you know what, I'm really anxious, I'm really like stressed out. So they don't tell anybody. So let's give them like a 15%. Still, we're missing something.
Atum na pa chu khalama hoy mo pumpia jong hoy taka ki en ko hoy ayanga lung sim lampe na counseling to like no counseling to mi baga mi haitia di chidan kata counseling pai hun lo mo to pen zala to an lo.
And I'm just going to let you know, somebody that seeks counseling is never crazy. It's the people who don't seek counseling that are crazy.
Counseling pai hun lo de pen a hai lo zo na counseling pai de pen a hai lo zo na counseling na pai lo de pen amawi.
But with person number 1, they're lacking in here, right? So what do they need? What do they need?
Heart. Health. Okay.
Health? Yeah, but how do you get health? Exercise, stuff like that, right? But they need somebody to kind of help them through that, right? So they need a doctor.
Yeah, doctor. Okay.
Okay?
They have to go see the doctor.
Yeah, they need to go see a doctor to get that help, to get that stuff, right?
Hold on. Nung kumaju ay pasal khat mo at chidam ma mai we ay hanga thao simina ay nang kien sakin na BPO de hi chi chi we na oh na ke bang ma pia ta nam lo ki ka chi da mi chi chi and it happened and he died with a heart attack. Okay? Ignore. More.
Now, person number 2, he's lacking in spirituality, right? So who does he need to see?
Yeah,
pastor.
You have to go to the pastors, yeah.
He has to go to the pastor and try to figure that out.
Yeah. Ani na pen khalama tasammo pasya na melo au na jong har lo ichi te pen counselor te kya pai ding lo doctor te kya pai ding lo pastor si kam te kya pai ding mo.
Okay, and number 3, if he's lacking in the mind and he's still feeling anxiety and everything else, who does he need to go see? Counselors.
Atum na papin, mga pataw thi deep ko thi, mang siya chi ko nga hile, counseling pa nga mo. Toy mana, so these three are not against each other; they're together. Okay, it's like three wheels of a car.
It's like saying God in a sense, because God is resembled in the Bible as being the wonderful counselor, and it's also he's the healer, he's the physician, and then he is the guide, he is the shepherd.
Yeah. Teluna hita. Tuay mana. So today tuay mana. Parenting pasal hoy zi hoy nule pa hoy ihi maachu ihi ki fix nga okay. So before we become a good parents, before we become a good husband, before we become a good wife, we have to fix ourselves first, our body, mind, and soul. Any questions? Don't know pom na. Very good. Oh, so far so good. Okay. You want to okay. So, can a true believer have a mental problem? It's a question to you guys. Yes. How can that be? Human being. Yeah. Piang thak mi mi sunga toy ve piatana. Pastor khen khat na le ngam tu no bang ham pha nei lo pastor si kam te pol in counseling at pi dan ke mo. Mi sunga pastor khen khat penin counseling pe it's against spirituality dan nga isulwe. It's not. He a basic it more. It's all aligned. We have to align it all together. Yeah. You want to go ahead?
Okay. See, because what happens sometimes when it comes to the mind, okay, we have to also look at the brain, and we also have to look at the biology of the brain. The brain is so fascinating. It is so amazing what the brain does and what it does for you. So when we deal with the brain, sometimes there's these things, okay? It matters. There's sometimes things on the outside, okay, that happen. Let's say somebody in your family died. Well, you're gonna be mourning, right? So that's normal, okay? There's nothing functionally wrong with your brain, okay? That's normal. You need your time. You need to talk to somebody. You need to get it out. You need to express, okay? I mean, even Jesus wept. You know what I'm saying? Like, and back then, the word wept was not, you know, he sat there and went, I've just teared up, no, he didn't do that. I mean, that's what it meant by wept, okay? It wasn't what we think it is no, I mean, it was huge. So he actually was able to express it. So that's normal, okay? But let's say you're constantly being, like, bullied, okay? And I'm sorry, but adults can be bullied too, okay? Especially in the workplace, okay? I mean, y'all probably have faced racism and stuff. Oh yeah, it happens. So let's say that's constantly being shot at you all the time, right? But you can't really say anything because you're either too afraid or you don't really know what to say. Because I'm sorry, bullies are mean, man, and there are some times that they'll come up to you and they'll rah at you and you're like, I can't believe he said that. I don't know what to say. But I have hurt feelings, but I don't know what to say. Do you need to translate any of that? Okay.
We kept lost though.
These are like bad
We are
words.
so excited, sometimes we forgot to translate.
I'm sorry. Like
ama mi
bullying.
ngi chi pen ina sep na kho nga jong mi nong simmo ong simmo bol ai ve to te pen inga tamluat changa ilung sim pen ong na the ai ve mo to changa hi mind hi lung a causes to Kimberly gen ma mga it could be sep na min ong bully jong hi thei mo sep na min ong simmo bol jong hi thei ai kele atuam tom tampio mai ve tun keina leng jong professional kahi hanga khatwe ve kahi naung the ma ong ki simmo ma mai ve in to te ben I thua kai ve I ve kai thua kai ve to te ben en hia ilung sima igen khiat ke le mo when we don't release those like stress and anxieties or whatever we have it affects us so bad that based on the Bible in Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 3 it says nalung himo sem le namang se sem ding hi cheve. In Ecclesiastes it says the more you're worried, the more you're anxious, you would have more nightmares cheve more. So where do these nightmares come from in our body? It's from the mind. Okay? The reason is we have two parts of brain, conscious mind and unconscious mind. Ti se le mati se mo. What's that?
There's many parts of the brain, but that's
But whatever you experience during the day, when you sleep, it takes rest. But the unconscious mind is still on process. Okay? So this is still processing. So when you fall asleep, it processes what you experienced during the day. Sunu na to akem piupin na imut siya na mati se ina same la yeve. To jan na mga ang pa yeve. Okay? That's why we have bad dreams. Okay? So when you have bad dreams, when you woke up, you think about it again. Okay? Oh, kamang sina kamang atwa da ni veo. Oh, itihita mo. What's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen today? I have a bad dream. So your brain continue to think about negative stuff. Okay? So as it keep going on, you deprive yourself on sleep. You want to go to sleep?
Yeah, I mean, basically, when you're thinking of all these things, because, okay, you remember in the Bible, my goodness, I really suck at people's names, to be honest, in the Bible. Who is the guy? Okay, I'm just going to be honest. Who is the guy that, I think it was, who was it? My goodness, I really suck.
Daniel? The one who interprets dreams?
No, I'm talking about like he fixed the goat's eyes on the thing, and they all turned white, and they didn't have any spots on them. What was that?
Laman?
My
Leprosy?
goodness. No, I'll think about it later.
Elijah?
Let me think of another example. Because when you focus on something, okay, it's going to produce that. Like, for example, when you went out and bought a red car, you can go around all of Tulsa and you'll notice other red cars. But before, you never noticed those red cars before, right? Or like when you...
Nanga isud na napin muding na ive. Gente na moto le dia paitio. Moto color pen red ho isana ive. Okay, moto red color bungai ke ive ngochin na leile. Nong hol khat chianga chu moto a red tamatam muding na ive. So because your mind focus on that. Does it make sense?
And if you ever notice, like when you drive by an accident, you start to go in the other lane. Why? Because you're looking. So you're starting to go toward that what you're looking. And you're like, oh crap, I'm in another lane. Yeah. And then that's why everybody slows up when it comes to car accidents, because everybody looks and then everybody starts going toward that car accident. They don't even realize it. Oh, sorry.
So chen na nga isud na pen na pumpin jong zwe hi mo gente na moto jong i hol chianga. Tom khat hi alang khat hilam enle ilung simi piak le ikuti ni thelo kala hilam kinaina.
So basically,
our body is
whatever you're focused on, that's what you're going to produce. Okay, so if you're focusing on all these bad things that are being said at you at work or in school or whatever, you're going to be concentrating on those bad things, which is going to cause no sleep. Okay, because you're going to be freaking out. You're going to be thinking of it. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I got to go to work tomorrow. I got to deal with that. Do you see what I mean? It's going to be no sleep. Then you're going to have anxiety going to work. You're going to start having sadness because you're going to start thinking, oh my gosh, I really am a loser. I really do suck. Like, oh man. That's why in the Word it says meditate on God's Word night and day. Because when you meditate on His Word, those X out these, and it's a positive thing.
Isip na ko nga miyong simmo na ay kele ako ilo ikipiak na inga isut siya zan ki muthelo zani muthelo cha ilung simong buai mo ki dip ko ki pataw toy mana lai siang thua pasian thu lunggel gel di nga chi pen pasian kamal ilung gel chianga hi ako ilo inga isut na te pen ki phia thi chebe.
And then of course as a parent, because my daughter the Bible has really big words sometimes. So she kind of stumbles on those words and she doesn't really know what those words are. I always tell her simple things. I always tell her that she is beautiful, that she is very smart, and that she is very brave, and that she is very wise and kind, right? So I always say those things to her, to the point that when I say, you know what, baby, you're beautiful, and she goes, I know. And I'm like, what the? What? Because I say it so much.
Katanunu kya nga bang melhoy luate pil luate siam luate chi mai chi mo to pen tun katanunu kya melhoy te ka chi kathai ve chi ta mo to adana einu le pan jong itate kya nga amau le mau kimu dan pen a chi tu ngai to alung simo om tam le mo ya a khwa ko om din na to just sleep like studies say that you are supposed to sleep at least 8 hours a night, okay? So if you miss 2 nights, okay, your body knows, okay? So what happened is, after 2 nights of not having an 8-hour sleep each night, it says that your body is like a drunk driver. Your brain doesn't function as normally as it should be. So the more nights, the more sleepless night you have, you will start hallucinating, okay? You will start paranoid, okay? Paranoid is
they're out to get me.
Yeah, what you get done, wapan on get done, on zuive, wapan a siakatung bolso, maybe more lau tong na lungsim, or hipan on get done, okay? Tidan more, to adan o maybe. It starts from sleepless night, okay? When we sleep, all our body take rest. Okay, so we also have to take care of our body. That is sleep. Okay, we have to take care of our mind through positive thinking.
And sleep is really, really important. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, we're older, we don't need as much sleep. Yes, you do. Okay, you need at least 8 hours of sleep. Okay, if you're not getting it, you need to get it. Okay. Because you don't want to start having anxiety or depression or hallucinations or anything like that when it's not psychosis, it's just you not sleeping. So there's ways to actually go to sleep at night. Never play with your phone before, like an hour before you go to bed, okay? Because it's a bright light and it's telling your mind to stay awake. Because there's a chemical in your mind that's called serotonin. It's responsible for mood and everything else, right? So during the day, the serotonin is active, okay, because of the light and everything else. But when it starts getting dim out, that's when dusk comes, and the sun goes down, it starts getting dim, that's when your body turns serotonin into melatonin. And melatonin actually makes you sleep.
Zan imut Hamatupi napen. Soon Janga he equak pen set dana mo. Equaxunga chemical oma serotonin kitty. Twaina he hovak me vak janga equaxunga activate set bangat paisagave. To a pen nitaka janga he serotonin chipen melatonin akilla ave. A switch killer ave. Okay? On up and off. The reason is a tapen pasianin zana imuding ang bolave. Suna hagding ang bolave. Okay, zana hagdinga bol tepen simbu ma nachiu ya simbu bangai ve zana rabbit bangai ve mo rabbit khong zana wag de pasian na bolai ve okay bag bang zana atang ding pasian na bolai ve ai mi hing tepen pasianin suna a hagding atang ding zana ai muding ang ko eve to mana ina sep na bang jong like khatwe night shift file dollar ni tamzo cha imi tian live it really affects your chemical in your brain. So it's better to have day shift than night shift, because in the long run it will affect you. Okay.
So also, when it comes to all the negative thoughts and everything, it also prohibits. It increases the hormone of cortisol. And with cortisol, it inhibits melatonin. So then, if you're up at night and you're worrying and thinking and thinking and worrying and thinking, there's a problem. Okay? So it's because of this that's inhibiting this. Does that make sense?
Tell mo. When you're not bodily healthy, mentally healthy, who suffer? Your wife suffer, your husband suffer, your kids suffer. Okay?
It's not just you. You're
Yeah,
not
it's
alone.
not just you. That's why we want to focus on you today. Don't listen this for your wife or your husband or for your friends. Don't listen for yourself. Okay? Take care of yourself first. When we travel in a plane, if anything happens, oxygen mask drop, put yourself first, then help others. Right? Tuang chi wei we. Mo van lenga bangya mahia oxygen ong kiale. Ma song kiale nang ki thwa potin la nanga nalem chan midang thwain chi mo midang pan pi ngai te pan pin. It's the same thing. Nang pa mo kei pa mind, body, soul na healthy na chidam keile na insung effect ding nanu pakal effect ding ai. Okay? So it's very important to focus on yourself first. This is not selfish thing. Hipian ang masial na hilo nang nachidam pot nga.
And I know a lot of our adults in our community like really suffer from not enough sleep.
Tun ay misunga atamzo pen imut khamlo piatana nei vewa.
I mean, I know our teenagers do too.
Khang no te zong mo khang dong hong zong.
So we're just basically telling you all of this so you can see how they're so interconnected. They're almost one, but they're not one. Does that make sense? So they're very connected, and with this is also connected with the spiritual.
Hi konggen na pen hi ipumpi le ilung simpen akizop na pen omai ve tua kha to hi na hi pen itel lo chianga ki balance lo ai ve tun gen de na ni dang pek lamka khami van mi ki chiu mai ve wa da thei kha diu le ve ei chu khami hi tai van mi hi tai hi na puan ngai no lo chi puan teng so mo en la mu la sau an ne kho mu bong go atop na hon pi khatong gai we to pen o khasyang tho gai hi chilai we mo. Those are like over spiritualized. Okay, me can cut in la, oh, we don't need spirit, you know, you are a little god, you know, nang pasyan no khatite achipolo mai we body mind pen de ta ka focus mai we to te jong dik thailo. Okay, so amuna ikithe ngai. You are the best doctor. Okay, you know your body the best. Okay, for example, like I don't tell my wife, this is a confession. Okay? It's a church. Zana, yesterday we have miscommunication, right? And I was so mad. I went to the room, and you know what I think? I said, why do I get so mad? Why? I question myself. Okay? So in my mind, what come up is like, okay, this morning I do this, I do that, I do this, I do this. She doesn't appreciate, she yell at me. Okay?
I didn't yell.
But she does, but to me she yell. You know what I'm saying? And I figured out that, hold on a minute, it's my mind. Kanga isun naman lo manaywe. Kay penin insunga hi kisalwa kaywe. Okay? I feel like I did a lot, and I feel like she doesn't recognize. So when she said she doesn't yell, but to me it's yelling. Because I think it that way, I take it that way. We almost get into a big argument. But I step back, I think about it, and she explained to me like, honey, I don't slam the door, I don't yell at you.
I didn't even realize.
And then I said like, oh my gosh, it's me. Okay? Then the other thought that comes into my mind was like, I talked to God, okay? I said, there is a reason why God gave Kimberly for me. Okay? Nait pen na ong he sakba idiag dingay. Does that make sense? If you really love someone, that person would tick you off the most.
Oh, yes.
Natel mo na.
Oh, yes.
Nait te tunga nakaseba idingay. Okay. So I kind of go back to my spirit side and said, okay, Kimberly is a gift from God. Okay? When you have a wife, a husband, it's a gift from God, right? And then God gives that person to you to help that person to become a better person. Okay? Casino chu pasianin gift ang piak chu ama Kimberly pen 100% pasianin abol na bang taka asu ananga kay apasal azipan mo ka backup ngai chu. Okay? So I said this is not a mistake. I need to fix it. And I thank God for her, and we talk about it and we fix it. Okay? If we don't talk about it, we might not come today.
I mean, there's a lot in a marriage, communication, definitely. You always have to communicate to one another because he loves to think that I mind read. I am not that talented. I do not know how to mind read. I have no idea. I am not a psychic, nothing of that matter. So communication is huge. Plus, what he was mad about, I didn't even know he was mad about. I just knew he was kind of, so I was like, something's off. But I don't know what's going on, you know? So I had no clue. So with him being able to sit down and we talk about it, that makes sense. And believe me, it wasn't a nice talk. It wasn't, hi, honey, I'm going to talk to you. We're going to talk about how mad I am. No, it was more like, yeah, so, well, this is how it is. Yeah. And I'm like, I didn't even know I did that. Well, you slammed the door. Well, I didn't even realize I slammed the door. I was trying to shut it. It didn't shut, so I had to push harder. That's what it was. And he was just like, well, you upset me. And I'm like, okay, I didn't mean to upset you. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. And then we just talk a little bit more. See, it calmed down. But at first it was, you slammed the door. You know, so yeah, you're going to show that anger. You're going to show that stuff. But I had no idea. So I was like, okay, yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Let's do this.
So from yourself, now we're going to go to our relationship, okay? Parenting would come slowly because we need to fix those foundation, okay? And this gonna, okay, you guys might hate me when I say this, but it's biblical. If you don't believe it, talk to your pastors and get this very clear. This is mostly cookie chate or a problem. It's one of the main problem, okay?
Okay.
Think outside the box, okay? Don't look at our traditional, please. Think outside the box.
Do you want me to read something?
I want them to see this. Oh, okay.
How about we erase this part?
Okay.
Here.
He pen zipa, he pen zinumo. In the Bible it says we become one. 1 + 1 = 1. Okay? The mathematics of God is very weird. 1 + 1 + 1 is 1. More Trinity bang. 3 in 1. 1 + 1 = 1. Zinu zipa 1 + 1 1. Okay? So when God says when couples come together they become one. I am not complete with my wife. I'm not completed. Butching low kaive. Kasi isang ma agwa ka butching low. Kaniwa kung pai ko mo nga we become one. Butching pan kaive wa. Okay? So what happened is azinu nule paum tiyo.
Honey, it's right there.
Oh no, I need more. Yeah, the parents.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Apasal nule paum tiyo. Kitak tinga taum tiyo. Tate. Okay, nulam teong he san kiwa mo. Amy sunga mo. Hi pen pum khataive. This is one. But we never save our oneness. We never protect our oneness. Okay? Inui paten thuong ne. Ipasal nule paten thuong ne. Ikala miyong tatlo at siya e nu pa ki ila yung buhay. Our main problem comes from our in-laws. Okay? When I said this, but if you keep this oneness healthy and strong, they are the one that's going to benefit. For example, me and my wife, we know this very clear, okay? So we never let anybody come into our marriage.
Not my parents, not his parents, not his family, not my family.
Not my
It's
culture,
us.
not her culture. We create our own culture. Okay? The reason is, even within siblings, Okay, unaw sunga jong mo. 4 5 unaw ya ilung sim ki bang loy ve. We have to adjust. So when you marry someone totally from another family, even though we speak the same language, even though we speak from the same come from the same village, there is adjustment to be made. Okay?
Because men and women are totally different.
Yeah.
Right?
So like toy mana hi tegel pen ipum khat na pen is safeguard le mo. Hi ten phat tuam pe. So you never become one with your parents. Okay? You never become one with your parents. Not even with your kids. Natsate ho to pum khat hingay lo na ibewa. Most of the time our kids get in here too. Itate hanga kito ngat tamata ibe. Okay? Because we let them come in. And like, so what are you guys thinking? Is it yes or no or wrong or
I mean,
any feedback?
We also have to realize that when in the Bible it says that we become one, okay? Even though culture says that we need to respect our parents, okay? Because yes, we can still respect our parents.
Yeah, we'll respect.
Definitely.
It's not respecting.
Okay, there's no way I'm going to disrespect my parents or his family because his parents already passed away. So there's no way that I would disrespect his Ulian, okay? So, but because we are one, we have to put kingdom over culture, okay? Dumb, can't spell, over culture, okay? So even though I'm going to respect, our parents, but I'm also going to value this the most because of God's kingdom. So I always put God first, okay? Then our family. Does that make sense? So if, let's say my mom says, oh, he's crazy, you get a divorce, whatever. I'm just saying. She would never say that, but I'm just saying. I would say no, because we are one, and God has told me that I'm supposed to be with him. Does that make sense? Because I asked God first. I didn't ask her first. This is not all white culture, so don't think because I'm white, it's all white culture. But in my family culture, you have to ask my dad to marry me, okay? But I asked God first. I didn't have him go to my dad first. I asked God first. I said, God, am I supposed to be with him? Let me know, show me signs. And he did. He showed me signs, miraculous signs. Then I said, okay, now you go ask my dad. So I always put kingdom above culture, okay? But we do respect our family. And because we are so connected, there's times I go up to him and say, when are we going to send money back home?
Yeah.
Like,
what's
going on?
Our husband, like, kanu pakalu ho iluay siya mo. Nung kumasala nga COVID laya chu, ken kasom jong hilo, kalom nun ukham, en hitak tinga na pataka tong thei mo, paycheck jong pataka nga kisang thei na, inlamate chu lunghi mo ome chi, sumkha ko chi, ken okay, in zanga khang ni ka chile what? No, that tom lo chi, ale libang ang khak sa kay. Hi inu pakala chidam chiang mo. Ahi tiyan jong azal zaway. Okay? Natel siya mo yan, you guys need to get this. If you guys get it, ting natatiw na makainaw jong ong senpi di ngay. Kaya nga, hi achidam kele mo. Amasa nang chu na chidam ngay mo, na zipa chu chidam ngay, na zinu chu chidam ngay. Mentally mo, physically. Tuwag siya nanu pakalong chidam le, hi natatiw na makainaw jong chidam di ngay. Tunita ka ito picture parenting ay parenting sukang mato ibolo pa mo. We need to do the foundation more.
And there's times when I'll notice that he's a little off than usual, and I'm like, have you talked to your brother lately?
Yeah.
I'm like, you better call your brother. You better, spend some time with your family on the phone, do some Zoom meetings or something. I'm like, we got to do something. And then when it was like COVID time, everybody shut down, right? So back home, they couldn't work. Well, we could still work. So I was like, who needs some rice? Who needs some food? Who needs some money? Who needs some rent? I'm like, we need to send it over there because we need to take care of our family, okay? So there's no disrespect in the family at all. But I put God first, okay? Because before I ever say anything to him, I always ask God, hey, God, what do you want me to do? How much do you want me to send? What's going on? What about this? And then I go up to him. Does that make sense? And I'm just going to let you know, this right here, the devil is out to get you. Do you understand? So you need to make this mega solid. I mean solid, more solid than metal, more solid than the ground I'm on, more solid than the earth that we roam. You need to make that solid. Because if he can get you divorced, if he can get you to separate, you are going to affect every one of your children.
2-3
generations. You're going to affect the parents, your parents, their parents. Oh, I told you about her. No, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I told you about him. Do you see what I mean? There's going to be gossip all over the place. Just a bunch of hate upon hate upon hate. Does that glory God? No.
See,
that is not glory to God.
Even like we have to safeguard our unity before God, okay? You know our people, we love gossiping. We hardly come to our people, but people were passing judgment on me, okay? Oh, azinu chu mikangte ya laube se khong chi mo. Oh, ama chu Thai boy. They don't even see my house. Nobody ever visit us, okay? People love to talk about our relationship, but when we keep it very clear, nothing can come in. It has to be super solid. Do I make sense? Nanu pakalong chidam de mo, ya inu ipaten jong ong mu weve. Ong mu chiang wa mo. Ama uma amay na ong yit weve. Tun ko bang in our marriage, they're not very diverse, I would say, right? Parents? Like parents? Yeah. No, they hardly hang out with any other race. Okay?
I'm the black sheep of the family. I'm the one that everybody's like, where did she come from? Because I'm all about diversity. Yeah. I love it. Anyway.
So when we're going to get married, like the parents were like, what? Asian? Chinese? You know, they didn't think I'm from India. They think I'm from China, okay? That's how much they are. So at first, like people start saying like, oh, maybe he won his green card. That's why he married your daughter. And after he get his green card, he would divorce. Tu tampio me. Kanu pakalu susedi mo. Okay?
But I knew that was not going to happen. And I kept telling my parents it's not going to happen because I asked God first.
Yeah.
And God gave me, like, I'm telling you, 3 or 4 like positive signs that we were supposed to be together. So I was like, I'm not worried about that. I'm like, I'm not listening to everybody else. I'm going to trust in what God has told me, and we're going to go with that.
So when you come together, like, there's a lot of things that you have to rub each other, okay? So to keep your marriage, your couple, nanu pahi now akip nanga chu kitat lo pamoive, kitot lo pamoive. Okay? That doesn't mean that you guys have to break up. That doesn't mean that you guys have to divorce. No. God give your wife, your husband to you to help her or him to become a better person. Okay? Nazinu nazipa chu pasiani nang hoi taka nas zut mam dingang pia kaibe. Okay?
But you have to come into the marriage thinking, how can I better him?
Yeah.
Like he is thinking, how can he better me?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So it's not all about me anymore. Like when I was single, it's all about me. If you want it to be all about you, you need to stay single and not have kids if you want it to be all about you. So because we're married, I'm like, hold on, it's not all about me anymore. It's about him. And then us working together. It's a give and take. So it's not all take and it's not all give. You know, like it's equal.
So to keep this healthy, you need to make sure that you maintain it. It's like driving a car, okay? When you first bought a car, it's really nice. They give you free gas tank full, right? But when you keep driving, you're running low on gas, you have to add gas, right? So for your marriage to become strong and healthy, you have to keep feeding the gas, okay? That's si na tun ngai ve na nu pakalwa. That's si tun lo pia nu pakalo yom thelo ive. Okay, in order
and it has to be a daily thing.
Yeah, in order to do that, you have to know like the 5 love language. Okay, there's a five love language. Hey, Papa,
But it's like almost time, so
Yeah.
maybe we'll continue with the love languages
Okay.
after a little bit. But
Sounds good.
it's a very like daily thing. You have to do this every day. And sometimes you have to do it 50 times a day.
Yeah.
Because a man and a woman, no matter what culture you guys come from, no matter if you're from the same bay, it's still gonna be hard, okay? Because it's a man and how they work and how they think and how their brain is wired, and a woman who is wired totally different, right? So you're always gonna have to work on it every day.
Okay.
But we will take a little break and then we'll come back with the love languages. Is that okay?
12:15, right? Yeah, let's come back at 12:15 and then we'll have one more hour, right? Okay. And if you have any questions prepared in the middle of it, just ask us question, okay?
It's so interesting that we don't even break. I don't want to go for break. We have
No, go.
Chow mein.
Yeah, let's have time. Yeah. Yeah. Imut swak hayom na jong cha don ni hangina. Yeah. Yeah, we can do another time again. Yeah. He said like, let's not take a break, let's just continue. Yeah. And then, yeah. And also talk about the difference, let's talk about the difference between men and women perception too, a little bit. Because somehow we jump into, okay. Yeah.
Wait, 5 love languages. Hold on, let me put this down first.
Act of service. Quality time. Physical touch. I don't know what you're trying to say, so I
It's the
cannot.
one where he was only given a whole, like these sheep.
Hello, hello. Okay. Oh. Anuam. Atak-taka, ami pi gay na yang ngomle ut kalay be gay. Anay lo gusto. Okay. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Then cham dongo, then BP mayam dongo. Yeah. Ama question nung do tu chak ko rong ka thiu tam pyong gen son te nung do lo chang a ki gen kha thei lo mo. Hello. Okay, he ka on dan ya to bang chi. Oh, ong hong lai lo mo. Okay.
English là nó nhiều đồng là nó lòng thế còn là màu anh hỏi English
à tôi ai bảo cái gì chứ là thà đâu bao lâu gì lại chắc khi bao bao lâu luôn ok.
15 tayo mo
130 okay.
Like maybe 115 na daw question ng wire on the wire
Yeah. Okay le. Ki on ma wala ma te nong on lo ta ni. Wala ma on nam da ni. Oh, hello. Okay. Hele pankik tani mo le. Ina. Yeah, they want us to be in the middle. Okay, I topic ko golma amain mo. Tunia iso kay pial le jong pasyanin hunlem dangong piak le jong should job ding ina nga isun ni hangina. It's a vast topic, so if we don't finish today, if God's willing, we can continue another time. So in our second session, we'd like to talk about like the difference between men and women. Mo, tua hundi na chu nume ile pasal nga isud na mo kibat lo dan genu tibe. Inume te ngak zegde ai kile. Kitchen lamate yung pa wo.
Ong pai.
Numei mizia konggen uchana adik na sakule numei ten amen ang nachiwo mo. So when we talk about the way
Hello.
women see things, give us an amen, okay? It's really motivate us. Yeah.
Hello.
Not working? Because
Yeah.
you use too much.
James Mlam.
Yeah.
Hello. 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 Timothy, in this one. Hello. Hello.
He Paul pisunga jong counseling student bangza here mama ichana
Ipita.
lungkim huaima.
James.
Lungkim huaima. It's really needed, you know. There's several counseling students in this church, so yeah.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
But what we talk about is not on the textbook, okay? A textbook ate penatuam atuam. Amy tiadinga kiban nai kollo mo. So we have to start from the very basic.
It's the page you select if you want to go 1 through 16.
Give affirmation, yeah.
Hello.
Okay, good. So we'll talk about the main difference between men and women, how they see things.
Thank you, whoever got the Nyang Tui and all the little chai and stuff like that. It's really good. Thank you.
Nyang singpi ball pen lungdam pe mai lim pe mai a chevek lom lu. Oh, Pastor Numo, okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nyang Tui Lim Lua.
Okay.
I try. Anyway, so like we were saying before, men and women are way different. Okay?
Numay le pasaw pen ki bang vet low. Just talk.
I have no idea what that is. Okay. So, how a woman's brain is wired, okay? I'm just going to let y'all know, okay? Men, you got to listen because you're like, wait a minute, why is my woman so crazy? I'll tell you why, okay? Because our minds are constantly all over the place.
Numay te pen kalung simu mun hem pe wa pai den tai den chi mo.
We hear and see and notice everything.
Ko numay te penin zong mu zong za na hem pe thei.
I know, right? I'll be sitting there, I'm trying to do homework or like not homework, paperwork, okay? And my little one will be sitting there, da da dam 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 dam. I hear every single word.
Zoom na sep kalai ka bol chen kataya ano lam ben kamita kamulo hang a kampawa pan ahi teng ka thei chi mo.
So me, I'm like, just shut up. You know, I'm like, I'm trying to get this done. I gotta focus. But I hear everything because I'm a woman.
Dain ye kana sep same hinu thing chi pen kalung simu.
Even when Trinity's like, Papa, 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 I hear it, but he doesn't.
Katanunun pa cha sabjong kenza khatwe pan zalo chi mo.
Because his mind is different. If he's focused on one thing, he doesn't hear nothing.
Bangaliam chile. Bangaliam chile. Pasal te pen kalung sim penu na khata ka koile adang hem pe.
So if your woman is a little short-tempered, it's because she hears and notices everything. She's in everything.
To jan na zi penu alung tom pian le na hem pe uza na hem pe muai chianga to teng sai hin vie ku te cha to nga alung tom the. Not in the body size.
Body
The physical like.
Oh, no, she's not in everything. I mean, but she's constantly thinking of everything.
Yeah, apum pihilo na alung simpen mun hem pe watai.
A woman's mindset will say, what if?
Numeite lung simpeni na bang.
What if? Not
Bang.
with, not
Ong
with
chile.
it, not
What?
with it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, he doesn't know how to spell what. It's okay.
What
if? So when my son goes over to the ledge, I'm like, what if he falls? Okay, that's what I'm thinking. But he's thinking he hasn't yet. Okay, so he's like, it's all good. He hasn't done it. I'm like, what?
Numeite penin kata papai cha pai pen ken ka ngai suna pu khale chi what if mo hi khale chi pen nu mei te ngai sun na chi aya ka pasal penin paile oh puk nai lo pi chin don vet lo chi ta cha inga isun na wa ki ban lo da no.
So that's the way different. We think of more in the future. We want to plan. We want to get it all set up. Hey, you know what? My son, he's going to go to Yale, and my daughter, she's going to go Ohio State, and this and that and this and that. And he's just like, dude, he's just turning 1 in a few days.
Ken kata papa pen Yale University kai ding to hi ding che ken to ngai sun ta aya ka pasalin kum khat jong phanai lo pi chi mo ngai sun na pen ki bang vel lo gen te na fridge mo
Oh my gosh, refrigerator.
jikhet tita jikhet right jikhet pasal te pen na jiteu na ei to ak tu yong lao chile na imaya omjong mo inga isun na I gari bol khong inga isun le imaya ak tu yom jong akimulo we ko ya mom lo pi ki chi okay katak pi to pen pasal ti ai ve khatinga isun le mulo imaya jong mulo pi chula khong pi am na si ta mo aya iji te chu afika thei mangu bong noi bangza kidon ta bangza kidon nai lo chi jo athei we.
And us women, we know everything. We know where everything is at. You ask for like children's Tylenol, we know exactly where it's at. We know it go right in there, it's right in here. We could do it with our eyes closed. We're like, there it is, children's Tylenol, we got it. And he's sitting there, where is it? And it's like right here. Where is it?
No mei te pen tate Tylenol bang mitsi sa jong om nakiten kila thei mai chi mo. Ai pasal te pen amai wam jong muthei lo hi chi to pen ya ichi ma banga mo ilung simu aki wardan ki banglo toy mana nazi chu hidana na khem pe aphun phun again gen pen na he le mo nanga wang sia nei ve okay na pasalin na mu thei lo chi pen na he le mo nanga wang sia nei ve banghang yam chile dawai iki I physical I brain ki wardan ki banglo okay. Now, if you ask your husband to get eggs from the refrigerator, if he didn't see it, just go and grab it.
There's many times I have to do that. I know.
Easy tape mo. Easy tape in a month. Na zite mo in a month. Kakatsungachu. Hapta khatsung no hapta ke month mo ni khatai ke le ni bek pong ma no even aziteo. What are you talking about? Iteina our wives are normal only 1 or 2 days in a month. The reason is there's a chemical change in their body every single time. They have their period, right?
That's how you get the babies.
Yeah.
So yes, everybody knows there's a period.
A period ni way mo. To a period na ikitu 24 to 48 hours to normal the way. Aham phate 48 hours bangi de. To akitcha next cycle da ki panai ve. Okay? To acha a body penu chemistry hormone ki khek de nai ve. Numeite. Okay? To ai mana numeite hang gilo ichi chi hong mo. Amao pum pitung am le jong amao saki wang zo di ngai ve. So as a husband we have to understand that your wives go through chemistry, hormone changes every single day.
So there's like men, you have to be very patient, okay, and get a lot of grace for your wife, okay, because of this thing, right? Give a lot of grace and patience because I'm sorry, us women, we could get ticked off really fast like that. We could be like, yeah, we're good. What the fish? Like, how dare you? I can't believe you did that. Oh. And then I'm good. That's just what we do, okay? Because we have a ton of hormones in us. So men need to give us that, right? But we also need to give grace and patience to our husbands because sometimes we think, they're stupid. How can you not see that? How can you not realize that, right? So we have to give that too. So it's a give and take.
Nazinu kya nga lungdoy ding happy na tampi na piag ding. Banghangi ami chile apum pisungo mo now bol na ding hormone chemistry ki khel de na cha ani nong neu cha nga zong thuak lai wei venu meiten ตัวจะนี่ขัดนี่บาง normal ตัวจะกิปันโนนะอีเจ้าแต่มันลุงด้วยดิ้งเหตุปีนานี่ดิ้งตัวด้านมานุไม่เต้นตรงภาษาเตตุงลุงด้วยเลยเหตุปีนานี่ไงน้ามุเทโลเทโลลุงสิมาเกี่ยวงานเลยบานโลมั่วตัวด้านขัดผม
Men are given this thing, okay, and this is by the grace of God. They are given this box, okay, that's in their mind, and it's completely empty.
ภาษาเตเป็น
Women don't have that box. It does not exist.
ภาษาเตเป็นนี่นะควักสงว่า empty box นี่เว้ยบางมาตักภาษาเตเป็นนี่จัดด้วยนะอีปีนั้นลุงเกล้ามจะอีมาจากกัน
Exactly. You're like, what are you thinking? What are you feeling?
ภาษาเตนตัวนี่เว้ยอายานุไม่เตนอมโลนุไม่เตนจูตายไหม
So if you ever say to your wife, what are they thinking? And they say nothing, it's a lie. I'm just going to be honest. We're always thinking.
ตัวเจ้าน่ะสิเตะแกก็บังอันง่ายสุดจะบังมาจิเลตัวเป็นจวบเงี้ยนี่เจ้านุไม่เตะอามาฮีนุไม่ภาษานี่น้องบอลดานน้องเสียมดานจังมั้งอากิบัดโลดานเทเลอีกิเฮปีน่ะอีกิอีน่ะจงเดี๋ยวไว้เว้ยนาทีเสียมุนะ So when we understand the physical nature of our husband and our wife, there's more patience, there's more grace. So the best thing is communication. Kihaw tang ding tun. Like sometimes, okay, kazibang. Kileng la, honey, I love you, I miss you so much, Timo. Intung le la, minute nga zong panala. What?
And I hate to say this, it's true.
I just want to bite you off, build him okay more.
I don't want to bite him, I just want to hit him sometimes. But I don't.
But I always said, okay, you're close to your period, right?
So it really helps us women to know when we're in that spot, okay? So we should, as women, know when we are over emotional or like near our period, we're having that PMS kind of thing, because there's times that I'm like, man, I really just do not like you. And I'm like, oh, and then since we're always thinking, right? I'm like, man, what is wrong with him? Why is he acting that way? Oh, just so annoyed. Then I'm like, oh yeah, it's because in 2 days I'm gonna start my period. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So we need to know ourselves too.
Okay.
And some women have it after, some women have it before, some women have it during, so it matters. Every woman is different. So if you don't have it before, that's okay. That's just my thing. It might be your thing to have it after or whatever. You should know your own cycle.
Ay kili ane ilay taku bang hiti, ay kili ane ikitu bang zong hiti. Numeite na pumpiu alamdang kasak mamakat. From my experience, ay ile. Tua kata papaw Swan Davida Pailay. I was driving, okay, on our way home. Kalom nupen, you're smoking.
Oh, I was pregnant,
yeah, you're laughing.
and I started laughing. Yeah. And then I started crying. And I started laughing and crying and laughing and crying, and I couldn't stop. There was nothing wrong. I didn't think anything weird. It's the hormones when I was pregnant.
She said, slap me.
Yeah, okay? I was like, please so slap me. I need something extreme.
Sure? Like, yeah.
He's like, are you serious?
You hit me. What is
okay,
that?
He didn't hit me out of anger, so that's not domestic violence. Don't think anything
so
like that.
It's the hormones, okay?
Yeah. But it stopped it. I stopped crying and laughing. Yeah. So I was like, oh, thank God, it stopped it.
Kagari ho pumachu.
Don't ever hit your wives. I'm just going to be, don't ever hit your wives.
To cha anu ito kap kho le ve. Kachinom na ipum pi pen pasyanin lamdang takamo Bible we are wonderfully crafted by God, okay, inside our mom's womb. So 100% pen ki thei lo, but you have to accept it. To pen nasan siya mo ngai ve. To cha nanu pakalo nakigen tang ngai ve. Nakigen kayule mo ki thei siya mo tek ding nai ve. Ki gamla tek ding nai ve.
Okay, I don't want to leave you guys thinking you can hit your wives. Don't hit your wives,
Yeah.
okay? It was an extreme case, and we're in the highway. I couldn't do anything. If you get that way, women, okay, what you can do instead, okay, is put like get ice and put your head in ice, like your face in ice, and it's an extreme thing for biology, okay? Because biologically speaking, when you do something extreme like that, it'll stop the cycle, okay? So that's why I was like, hit me, because you have to stop the cycle somehow. So that's why, okay? So use ice instead. Don't get hit by your husband.
To da na pasal teo kibet sak pen zong ahoi pen ikin aya ice mo na mai wa ice bang khan leo che twain tampi na chemistry light thei che. Okay, to now we'll talk about like
We're going to talk about
yeah.
love languages because you need to know your love language as well as your husband's love language in order to show love.
Okay. To bin ama love language kinai te kai ve, okay? Numei now pang pasal ifeka mi hingi na le love language nei ve. To pen atang pia hi nga hi na atom to ma jong ki khen the na this is the big one, okay? Hi na the na kule it will help your relationship with your husband and wife, okay?
And sex is not a part of that.
Yeah, wanna go for you go.
Acts of service, okay?
Acts of service ji changa na ki naong hi sak ai kele mia dinga na sep sak mo.
This is when, like, the person likes when you do something for them. So if you clean the house, or if you make them something special, like I don't know, make them dinner, or if you clean the garage, or if you wash their car, or something.
Me acts of service love language nei te hile kwayam khatin ama dinga bangyam khat abol sakle lungdamoi ve. Okay, kipaku.
Then we have quality time.
Quality time cha hunzat pi mo.
Quality time is basically just spending time together. They're not really doing anything. They could just be watching TV. As long as they're together, that's quality time.
Mi khen khat pen bang ma hi zong ngai lo tu khomina TV khong eng khom le leo to cha lung kim nya to mai.
It can also include doing something, playing soccer, you know,
I
doing
get it.
something together.
Bo lung sui bangai kele bangyam hi khom zong hi te.
Then we go to touch.
Athum na pen touch chi cha kichimat na mo.
Now, I'm not saying you should go and touch everybody, okay? Because not everybody's love language is touch.
Mi ken be kyang apa na va ban khoi le to pen na ma love language kin lo.
But this love language is more of like people giving you hugs. You notice some people, they really like hugs, and other people are like, I'm good.
Mi ken khat pen I koi cha nuam ma men mi ken khat pen mi to chi ki sukhak di pen au lo polo mo.
And then there's gifts.
To cha let song piak.
Gifts are, you know, just like, here you go, I bought you something, or
yeah.
I made you something, or something.
Nga din yung lay sa kinge kile yung ball sa kinge cha let song piak mo.
Affirmation
Word of affirmation, yeah.
is words like saying, good job, I'm really proud of you, you're amazing, you're awesome.
Hi hoi chia siam chia yung pak tai nge thupi chia cha kamal to phatna.
Now, I'm not saying that in a relationship, in a marriage, you're going to have the perfect setup, okay?
To cha nu pa hi na to banga asen pingiat khato kituak lian chi bangongom lo dingi.
Because with us, it's not a perfect setup.
Ko nu pa bang hivet loi ve.
My favorite, okay, is touch.
Ama I love language number khat na pen touch ai ve physical touch.
So I like hugs, I like to grab his hand, I like to go over by him and kind of do this number, I like to, that's just what I do.
Kay pen ni na ka pasal ko ina a khut khong le ni na banga to pen ken nuam sa mo.
My least favorite is acts of service.
Pila ka kaya di nga Kahi haksa ka sak pen pen le kasan zo lo pen pen midanga dia na sep sak. Hi sak.
Because I'm a very strong woman, so I don't want to serve people.
Kay pen no may kipasak chile la hi kay ve na hang mga pasalte hi thei kai chi lungsim nei kai cha midanga na hi sak chi pen kay kazia to kitwak lo mo.
But I married somebody whose favorite love language is this one.
Aya kapasal love language number 1 pen act of service.
And what his least favorite is this one.
Kaya di nga at least pen touch ay ve. We'll give you example on this, okay?
Okay.
When we first know each other, hers is touch, okay? She always wanna hug when we meet, and then me, no. I'm not touching you, especially in the public, no. Okay? So one time we met during lunch. Kadvay sunan ni kom kay veka kinga ilayo. Kapay de kutsia nga parking ay chen kalom ni pen no hug om chie.
No hug.
Ato ja ay jong banga inga izong nuai chen akhasia dia he di de lo cha pai na. Kina ichi bai. To chi jang ay tak tinga a drinks pen bet khiat sak mo parking lot. Cause
I was like,
kaya dia mi mu honga vako ichi pen you know. Ay ama adinga oh he loves me. Yeah. Me maya he's not ashamed of me chen ay tamo. Exo service pen ken min anhuan chi khong min anong huan nuam kai ve kain khong wang ho le te lian puin jong thin je lian pu bang jong ho le anhuan pa kai ve because to me it's I show him my love mo leng la kan ile sing pi khong an khong wan pa kai ve to me it's my act of love kai na kala na ka ki ten tung wa chu kalom nu kyanga can you give me oh you want to go ahead
I want to say it.
Okay then go ahead yeah.
So he was at my apartment. We were dating, okay? And he came over way early in the morning, and I was like, oh, hey, you know, and we're just chilling. And then he goes, can you get me a cup of coffee? And I looked at him, I said, what am I, your slave? You get it yourself.
Kakiten mau jing sang tung khat ke mau in avabang kana sep na la mo mai chama in ei chi chu pasali cha ma nu mei easy di da na ko i cha nga e coffee ong swa dio ka wa chi put khak le hey ke na silang sa mo ong chi e mo.
And he got really mad, and I was like, why is he getting so mad? I'm like, I'm not your slave, I'm a woman. You treat me as equal. You don't tell me to get you stuff.
Ka cha nga ke na sila hi jen ken ke nang to ki ban hin ka chin ama a he pen ken lamdang ka sa chi mo.
But knowing that, because the whole thing with that, my mindset was telling me he's not treating me equal, he's treating me like a slave, right? When that's not what he was doing.
Kangai sun na pena kay pen akikimang mulowin silang boli chi ngai sun na kan iman hina ongza tak lowin kakite.
He was looking for me to love him
aman ya kay pen
and show him love in his way he understands it.
Coffee ong swen chi pen nongi nang lakin ka chi na ive akama ka gen lo hang mo because my love language is acts of service. So ama pen physical touch na zumpi piami maya chu ka khut ka khilet mo. Now I get used to it. Tuabel phamo non lo na se pai di le jong haka ikis ke le ama chu khaseta to chu noblota bangang yam chile it's not for me, it's for her.
Exactly. And there'll be times he'll come up to me, like when I'm cooking or doing something, he'll come up to me and be like, give me a hug. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, yay, I didn't even ask for it. But he's asking me for a hug because he knows that's my love language.
So if you know your husband love language or your wife love language, you might not be comfortable, do it. Do it for your spouse, not for you. Toy mana nazi na pasali love language na thele nanga ding anok mo hi le jong bolin mo nanu pakalu chidam na ngai ve tun gente na gift bang min gift ong pya gu cha ken like nuam salo kalom nu jong gift to za de lo ve ta cha gift kong ki pya le jong apkhiat nam lo mo word of affirmation chi khong bang jong ko wa de ka love language hi lo ve if it's not your spouse love language, don't use it. It's just waste of time.
It is. It is.
Toy man nazi na pa nazi nui love language ay kele ball ken it's nahun beile lai.
When we first got married, I tried to give him some gifts, and he was just like, whatever. So if you use something that's not speaking to them in love, in their own love language, they're not going to see it as love. He was just like, okay, well, thanks, but whatever, like, no big deal. I would buy him all these things, and he would be like, okay, what is she doing? So if you know it's their love language, use it. And I'm just going to be honest, a lot of our kids, this is their love language. That's the number one thing they talk to me about. They tell me that their parents are always telling them that they're not good enough, that they're not getting an A, so they're wrong and bad, and that they're not like their cousins or their brothers or whoever, right? Or that they're too chubby or too skinny or too fair-skinned or too dark, okay? We get that a lot in our community, okay? So affirmation is huge. Some kids, they come up to me and they say, I've never heard my dad say, I'm proud of you. But I'm going to be honest, I know all the dads are proud of their kids somehow, some way, in something. You need to express it. You need to say it.
Itate wa tamzo allow language pen word of affirmation aive. Tunko nisiala itate hanglote high school elementary te dokimuden kaiwa. Itate wa tamzo te na kanu kapan I'm proud of you mo nang kong kisak te pie chi kamal ka zangi kiu chi khong aive tamzo. Tacha itate a hi pen kisamaive. In tungen te na hi love language atupi na pen.
And you can use affirmation in anything.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you want them to get straight A's, right? I mean, that's just our people's thing, right? We want our kids to all get A's, okay? Which, if they do, praise the Lord, that's awesome, but there's some classes that are so hard that even getting a B or a C is like getting an A. I'm just going to be honest with you guys, okay? So it could be in anything. It could be, hey, last, a few months ago, you were getting a 72. Now you're getting a 76. Amazing. That's showing progression. That's showing progress. They're not just standing still. They're trying. They're going forward. Does that make sense? Like, I even do that with my own kid. Yeah, I want her to be top of the class, definitely. Everybody wants their kids to be top of the class. Yeah. But as long as she keeps going and she keeps trying, that's all that matters. If she's getting a B and then she gets a little bit better of a B, sweet. If she's getting a C and she gets a little bit better of a C, sweet. So that's how we should show our appreciation of our kids and be like, man, because they do. They work hard. They work hard. They really do.
Tun itate tamzo pen en aimite na itate vivieng adi lamen ive mo. To pen atak taka man lo ive. Ama subject atuam to mo mai ve mi hingi chi pen isiam na tuam to mo mai ve mo tencha hatte science har lo the science hatte social study har lo the to man a har lo na khat lenia b khong si khong nga le jong anunga chu 70 amule akik changa 76 amule yes good job chiding bangangiam chile 70 to 76 akimu ki kalu chu amawa dia e mu to ki bangai ve to cha inu le paden pa toy dani siam ngai mo tuni love language atupi dan pen example ongen len tunia iki ho the na chu atamzon sapau na thik man we mo tun ei laka sapau thelo bangza hiamom atedim pau jong hoi taka thelo om nai wewa to ate adinga ka sei ho chu hak sai we it's a language that they don't understand mo kapau tello nai chat na nop na sakding zawa nop sa thelo nai wewa na thei samuna to changa inu pakala hi love language pen ikitel le mo iki houna khat dikaiwe tun ke yadi nga chu kazi hi cha khut kaleta mi lakhonga mol khongai cha kalet le ama adi nga bang he's not ashamed of me oh kazi pan ke mi lak ongzum pi lo hi chi pen ama ai to cha ama pen ai na a laughing pen khangulu lai vele mo hoi kisa chini lungkim ke pen kazin chik ma anuhan ngei lo ka kiten tungwa I said let's cook it's like how do you cook chimo ke mo anuhan ni ka chuli an bang chiwan di mo chi ama anuhan ngei lo na hi ayanga she learns that mine is act of service to changa ka kiten sot tek te ko cha amanu anuhan dan kisin chai bol dan kisin dal huan dan kisin tun dinner hi ngak le kainua atam zo an ne kai wa kalom nu na huan atunga chu limalim lo ai hanga tui khong an tamatam but it's okay, you know, she learned. At first she was not good.
No,
jong hilawai ve
I was not good.
an huan chi bena u thilawai ve ai hanga ke ya dinga love language che chang aman a bol le tun ka ki naw jong khangai ve na thik siamuna tua ki samai ve toy changa nazi nu nazi pai love language pen banga hiam chi te toy ke le phatwam loi ve bang chi za tai ki bang khathang mo question, any question? Clear?
Okay.
Ask your wife. Best thing is ask your wife. Yeah. Yeah, very good. See? Yeah.
Dear Lord. But wouldn't that be amazing if she wants the same?
So, can you hear more about quality time to spend with husband and wife?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh my gosh. You guys should totally implement a date night. Do you know why? Because you're completely always bombarded with your kids and with everything you have to do at home and everything you got to do for work and everything you got to do with everything. Let your sister-in-law or your brother-in-law or somebody take care of your kids and go out for 2 hours, just you two. That's it. It's amazing.
Yeah, hold on. I want to show to you guys. I turned off my phone, but since you asked me that question, I don't know if you guys can see it or not. This month, May, right? 27th. Oh, come on. 27 is my, oh, come on. Date night with my wife. Okay?
So we put it on the calendar so we don't forget.
From 6 to 8, ikinga ilaida na ko pai kai we go to a restaurant, in a romantic restaurant, okay? We sit down.
Not McDonald's.
Talk. Yeah, not McDonald's.
We don't go to Walmart. We don't go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for that, whenever we get paycheck, I save a little bit of money for that night. Okay? Sometimes I surprise her. I take her to melting pot. Expensive.
And he'll put the roses on. I'm like, oh my goodness.
That lasts for a month, I'm just saying. So, look at here. In June, I have one here on the 24th, okay? Then on July, I already have here for the 22nd. The reason is,
if you don't plan, you're
if
gonna
my
forget.
wife is not happy, if my relationship, my marriage is not healthy and strong, everything would crumble. Okay? So when I plan ahead, so between 6 and 8, I would even look for a babysitter. Sometimes we even pay, you know, like we cannot always ask our parents. So we just leave our kids for 2 hours. We go to restaurant, we look for nice restaurant, like last time was really nice, you know. It
They
helps.
even had personal singers. Like
Like
people singing.
Yes.
Tell me more about quality time. My wife always leave me alone.
So, like for us, it's not something that we do, okay? It's not something that we do. I don't get used to it. Date night I spend almost $100. Like, I'm honest. I think it's waste of money, okay, and time. But the more I do it, I can see that our relationship grow. Okay? Kanu pakalu mga kiptek tekaive.
And you can talk about anything. You can. It's just you guys. So it's not like we're sitting there going, Oh, googly eyes. Oh, like you
Yeah,
don't have to
it
be like
doesn't
that.
have to be like
Like
that.
you guys could talk about anything. You could talk about the kids. You can talk about, your dreams, your aspirations. What do you want to do? What has God been saying to you lately? What has God been saying to him? Like you can do these different things. You don't even have to go to a restaurant, to be honest. You could just walk around a park. That's free. You know what I mean? Like you could do anything. You could go get a little coffee, walk around the park, go to Riverside, walk around, whatever. Just something so you
Yeah,
guys are together.
Just two of you, yeah.
So there's no kids all over, even
Yeah.
though, they got a little splash pad. Oh, the kids will love it. No, do not bring the children. Just you guys, and just enjoy
And
each
you
other.
need that. Like we are 24/7 parent. It's not really healthy for us for ourselves. But when you just spend time together, it helps. It's renew your relationship. Naki na pinu hangay ve. Toy nga asumbe tek ding hilo mo. As a husband, we have to initiate this. Adiak ka ay kukitate mo pasaltin to hilo ive. Numeya tamzo in to alungula ive. They want quality time. And let girl talk. Numeite chu pausak sakmay mo. Just listen. That's all they want. Katakpi, give them a chance. Most of the time, woman doesn't want you to solve problem. They just want you to listen.
That is so true.
Katakpi, isitin again Peniel. Ball di chula kang chipay. No, they just want you to listen.
And there's times I had to remind him of that because he's a man, okay?
Yeah,
and men
you
want to
always try to
solve
fix.
problems, right? So sometimes I'll be like, well, this is that. And he's like, he gets on his cape, I'll solve it. And I'm just like, no, just listen. I just need to go, oh, that was pretty rough, wasn't it? Oh, that's all I need.
Any more questions? Does that make sense? Good?
Most of our people, let's say, we don't have or we don't experience the quality time with the husband, right? What I experienced is when I was in Houston, one of our sisters will take care of your kids. Your wife goes shopping or something. I said, why she say like this?
Yeah.
I never thought that.
Yeah.
So that's why if you can explain where to do, when to do, and what to do.
Yep. And what's also amazing is that you can also have date nights with your kids.
Yes.
Okay? There is a time, he's going to show you again. There is a time every month that he sets aside, we have our date night, right? But he also has a date night with my daughter, okay? Or a date time, okay? So it's not really at night because, the parks are kind of closed at night and the kids like the parks, you know what I mean? They like gathering place, they like all this other stuff, right? So he will literally leave the house for about 2 or 3 hours and do whatever she wants. Where do you want to go, baby? Oh, I want to go gathering place. Okay, so they go to the gathering place. Walk around, get some ice cream.
Yeah, all she needs is ice
That's
cream.
it. And she plays, and then he's with her. And she knows I'm special.
Yeah, when I date with my daughter, I never lecture on her. I never scold her. I just let her tell me anything she wants. And I just listen. When you date with your wife or your kids, make sure you don't lecture on them. Tuhil na nga na zading lo iwe. Na ziteo, na tateo, hun na zat pizza, tuhil na nga zading lo. To do again, sagdi swak tatakamo.
Like date times and date nights should never be a lecturing. It should never be a we need to talk kind of time. That needs to go aside, and what's there is just you being with each other. Okay, so you with the little ones, or you, and I have date time with my daughter too, because I need for her to have a father figure in her life that's huge, and a woman figure in her life that's huge. So she knows what to look at to become, but she also looks at who to marry. Does that make sense? Who's gonna kind of treat me like my dad, who's very protective and spends time with me and cares about me and loves me, right? We all want our daughters, right, to be protected and cared for, not to wind up with some bad boy guy or whatever, right? So we have to image that. And then I don't want her to walk around with slits everywhere, showing a bunch of skin, the belly showing everything. I don't want her to do that, so I don't ever dress like that. I always show her too.
Okay, so this month, May 14, was my date with my daughter, okay? from 9 to 12. Then June, I have it on the 11th, okay? And July, I have it on the 9th. So I put it in my calendar. So that time, I don't make any appointment. So every month, I have a date time with my daughter, date night with my wife. Now I have a son. I'm going to have to put him there too. The reason is, now we kind of go into parenting. I'm not a good drawer, so this is your family, right? This is you, your wife, this is your kid. This is your son, this is your daughter, right? This is you, father, this is mother, okay? Your son, whether you like it or not, when he get married, natapapan ziyana itiang amo, azino chu, azino personality chu, nazi anu I mizia za som guklenga som sagilenga kikal nikat ong kiten pi di ngay natapapan zong natapapan no what am I talking about? This is son, right?
Yes.
Natanunun zong pasalan na itiang amo a pasal alung si malapin za som gukpan som sagilenga nang apay mizia nikat ong kiten di ngay it's a proof. Zukham kham mo domestic violence insunga pa hangang zite vua tate sat chanun mo pasal tuabang neyu tham tangay it's a research proof because it's normal to them. They thought that that's a normal family functioning. Okay? Toy mana tunya nang pa na hina mo na zina haudan na pasal na haudan chu na tate tuabang mi ong nedi mo. Do I make sense? Yeah. It's not about lecturing to them. It's about showing example, action. There we go. Tuay mana nazi to nakalpen tutupiay nataten they saw it, they observe it, and they'll look for someone like that to be their husband or a wife. Okay? Tuay mana hipen tupi mama. Tuay changa do your nga Reuben bang tanu na nina tanu nelo okay tanu na iten bang apasalu nang bang za som guk 60% bang apasal ding darun nga isun leute mo will you be satisfied that your son-in-law would be like you 60%? If not, you better fix yourself. That's why first session I get at you physically, mentally, spiritually, be healthy. Because your kid's going to marry the same person like you. Okay?
I hear some,
Ken tunya kazi, kaboldan mo, atamzo kapapan kalakay.
What are you saying about me?
I said like, the way I treat you, basically, unspokenly, I learned it from there.
Oh, okay. And Trinity's going to learn that.
Kapa penin numay pen za tak ma mai. Always respect. Toy manak insunga ko khan kya to chuko we are 5 boys and 4 girls, right? Kay pasal ka ihanga, I'm not spared. I cook, I wash dishes, I mop the floor, toy, I do everything. My sister doesn't stay in the kitchen. Okay, that's why I can feel what women go through in the kitchen. I know how much time they spend on raising kids. Okay, toy man anu may pen can taste yam because my dad trained me that way. Okay, toy man tunia nang nazi nak mapanta dan natati na mapanta ban generation it goes to 2-3 generation. Anything you want to add? Any questions? You're all so quiet. Am I scolding at you guys or do I make sense or no?
I don't know. That happened in my personal experience. In my family, my father was so wild. I feel that this nature I should drop. This is the worst part. After I got married, I just look at my wife as something like not fit to be beaten. My father was so wild, he was very violent. But after a year when I grown up, of course I was grown up in a different atmosphere again. What I feel was my childhood was such horrible. So I think this is evil. So when I got married, what I feel was that to be a woman is evil. That understanding, so far it is. And I was a little bit skeptic when what you do today, your children will do to you, husband or wife.
Yes, I mean
Yeah.
you can change it.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're like knowledgeable of it, you can change it. Okay, because if you really look at like the way I was brought up is way different than the way I live now.
Yes.
Okay, but it's because I realize there's a problem.
Yeah, there was a problem.
Does that make sense? Some people, they realize there's a problem, but they're like, man, it's so comfortable just to be in that problem. Okay? So that's why a lot of people stick with it because they think it's normal. It's like, it's very normal to them. So it's easy to be in there. Okay? Me, I was like, no, I need to change this because this is not good and it made me feel like crap when I was growing up. So I'm going to change it. Okay? Mom and Dad, I love you to pieces. You did an awesome job. But there was a lot of dysfunction in my family.
Yeah,
so I changed it. So now, like, I make sure that it doesn't continue through me to affect my kids. Does that make sense? So I have to literally every day go against what I was brought up to do just to make sure that they are protected. Does that make sense? Yes? No? Yes? Because you have to step out and you have to make those changes. And I can't change my parents, but I can change me.
Yes.
Yep. You can always change yourself. So if there's something in your upbringing that you do not like, you can stop it here. Like I'm stopping it here. There will be no addiction. There will be no cursing. There will be no the putting down kind of thing. I'm stopping it now. And I'm going to edify my children. I'm going to show them that they can do it. I'm going to give them that encouragement. I'm going to give them opportunities to show themselves even that they can do it. Okay? Does that make sense? So you need to do it all the time. And yes, there are times that I sit there and say, oh, F this. And I'm like, crap. Okay? I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes. Okay? But I try every day not to do those things because I don't want my kid to do that same thing. Because if I do it and I just relax because, I'm stressed out, man. I got to just chill. I got to just, going back to normal. My kids are going to suffer. And so is my relationship. Okay? Because there wasn't much communication in my household when I was growing up. There was a lot of unsaid expectations. And if you didn't do it, it was big shame. Okay? Which a lot of our families go through that too. There's a lot of unsaid expectations. Okay? Like, oh, you're supposed to do this, but nobody told you to do it. You're just supposed to do it? That doesn't make any sense. Okay? So I make sure I communicate with my kid. I make sure I communicate with my husband. I make sure I do these things every single day so it doesn't happen over and over and become a generational habit. Because we notice that it's not generational curses that everybody's talking about, it's habits, because we're so used to doing it. So we just do it, and then our parents done it, so we do it, and then our kids do it, and then the kids' kids do it, so everybody just keeps doing it. And it's like, when are we gonna stop and say, no, I'm enough. I'm done with this. I'm done with, I go to church only on Christmas. I'm done with this. No, I'm gonna build that relationship with God. I'm gonna do those things. I'm gonna edify my kids. I'm gonna love my husband. I'm gonna communicate that to him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, commenting on what you just said, that's why we have this talk, okay? So that all of us doesn't repeat. What we tell you is a research where people doesn't learn.
Yes.
But we want you guys to learn so that the same way you brought up is not repeated in your family. Natel siya muna. Tuay mana tuaya siapa na gen ma banga. Kapan ka kan khian na dan ken numei pen wak tham sakeng chebe mo. To amana thei pen a hoye ve. To igen khem pe pen mi atam zo na oh hi pen diglo hi vio ka family ka in kwan paida ni pen diglo hi vio ka pa hi pen diglo hi vio cha ai khel som lo na anu apai panta dana apanta generation apai pen to pen ibe sakun mana thi dana ki holim na ni ve tu na ma pen ham phai cha man thei khai ve aya a thei khalo yom zen le ichi manai ve mo in a like in the theory you would learn that nature and nurture it plays a lot. Okay, the nature and nurture theory.
Yes.
You're in counseling field, right? Okay, you got that right. Okay, I'll explain. What am I trying to say?
Nature and nurture?
No. I'm just trying to remind him that. Okay. I'm trying my best. Okay, my dad is my best friend. Kapa pen kalo moi pen eve tu ni tana kathugu ka cigarette khat mo kapa kyang gwa ka ga gen o mai ve pasian le kapa gwa kina the o mai ve midang kyang mi ma ka gen tua za dinga kapan relationship ong bo ve all your kids should feel like that. All your kids should feel safe talking to you, not to their friends. For that you have to build relationship. For that you have to have a quality time. Okay? Our daughter is 9 years old. Now we talk about boyfriends. See us. We just talk about it. Because if she doesn't get from us, she's going to learn from somewhere else. Right? Yeah, we have been talking about that.
I'm a very protective mom, so I don't trust anybody else telling her about stuff. You know what I mean? Like YouTube and all that stuff is teaching your children stuff. I don't care if it's kids YouTube. I don't care what it is. Whatever's online. Like, she does not have a phone. She does not go online. She plays a little, like, dolphin game and some Hatchimal game or something. But she only does that 1 hour on Saturday and 1 hour on Sunday. And that's it. The rest of the time, the tablet is gone. It's off. Does that make sense? Because I want to make sure what's going into her eyes. I don't want things going into her eyes and into her mind that are not supposed to be there. Because it'll keep replaying.
This is not a very good babysitter, okay?
No.
Stop it.
My kid, my son, is going to be a year old on Tuesday, and he grabs my phone at least 3 times a day. Guess what I do? I grab it back. Guess what he does? Oh, well, deal with it. You need to cope with your emotions. You need to cope with your stuff. And guess what? I'm not going to let you play with my phone. Why? Because there's things on my phone you don't need to notice. You don't need to see. I don't want you searching everything. I don't want you playing everything, okay? I mean, even Steve Jobs doesn't even give his own kid he made Apple, right?
Yeah.
He made Apple phones. He can obviously afford an Apple phone. He even creates the Apple phone. He doesn't even give his own child an Apple phone until they're 18 years old. That must tell you something. If I'm creating something and I won't even let my own kid play with it, then why are we letting our kids play with it?
Our daughter
there's something wrong with that.
Our daughter is 9 years old. She would never touch any of our phones.
She does not touch our phone. She doesn't even ask
Even
anymore.
if it rings, we don't allow her to pick up.
She's like, it's ringing.
That's not your
and she'll
phone,
back
don't
up.
touch
It's
it.
ringing. And I'm like, can you bring it to me? She's like,
you can train your
I
kids.
can bring
You
it to
guys
you?
can train your kids. It's not that we just say something. We practice at home. Katakpi hi phone mo. Natate kya ngon nanga hilo kya hi na chu ngai ve. This is mine. Nang tham the hilo na chi di ngai ve. Katanunun ka phone khoi ngai lo ve. Agin le zong lang ngai lo. Valao ka chi ke nga le lo ve. Okay? Phone hi electronic device hi tate don na zan khai na. Hoi lo tampi tun kasep nawa elementary, intermediate, class 5, class 6, class 4. Tu lai taka kapia tana pe nu le pa ka lai ve. Now pangten a sound khong bolu e classroom ana thina. They make weird noises in the classroom. That's why they are referred to us. Where do they get it? From the phone. Okay? And top of that.
Also.
Now pangte gian tang lo hon. We don't have any social media account.
You will not find us on social media.
Don't look us on Facebook or Twitter. We don't find us. We are not there. Because most of the time, you waste your time on social media and you got nothing out of it. It's all about negative comments. Negative comment, it's stuck in your head. Okay? So you have to discipline. If you want to discipline your kid, discipline yourself.
Yes.
Na discipline no tule no zong na ki discipline pot ngai nang ki discipline lawa phone na Facebook a ma na tate kya nga hey kam ko na chule it's wrong hi thailo it's a hypocrite pharisee nun tak nai yeah.
It's been shown also in a lot of studies in mental health that when you let your kids play with tablets and phones and all that stuff, right? And they play the games, right? You always have to run from one to the next, Temple Run, all that kind of stuff, right? Y'all know what that is? Okay, well, they used to be big back then. Anyway, I don't know what's on there now because I'm not on there.
Now it's
So it's always, you have to get really fast. You have to get as much as you can, really, really fast. It's all fast. This promotes this and this. Do you know what that is? ADHD, ADD. Attention deficit disorder, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, which means they can't sit still. They're constantly going, okay? Which later on, this causes problem in school. This causes problem because they can't focus in school because guess what? They don't have all this when they're learning. They have a piece of paper. Write down an assignment. The teacher has to talk. They have to be quiet. Does that make sense? So there's a lot of behavioral issues that happen when you let them do this. Okay? And when it comes to when they're adults, they're so caught up into this imaginary world that they can't even have social interaction with others. They're having problems. Okay? So, like one of my colleagues, he was telling me, he's like, this is how I kind of explain it to parents. You have to go really, really fast when it's this. But if you have your kid do something else, okay? Because you're like, okay, my kid's bored, what are they going to do, right? Have them draw, okay? Draw with them. Do something. Because guess what? When I'm sitting here and I'm drawing, right, it's kind of a little awkward because it's taking time. It's not fast, right? It's taking a long time for me to draw to make it look nice. Because if I did this, it would look like that, right? But I want it to look like something. So a little puppy maybe, I don't know what this is. Maybe a little tongue hanging out. It's a little puppy, right? But it took me a long time to make this, right? So it'll also take your kids a long time to make it too. And it helps them to focus, right? Because what do you do in school? You focus. You want straight A's, you're going to have to focus, right? It's going to take a long time. And look, he's a little wagging of the tail. It took a long time, but this one it didn't. I did it so fast, this thing was waggling. You know what I mean? So this is going to take focus, concentration, patience that your kid needs to thrive in school, academics, in a career, right? So promote more of arts and crafts, or maybe Legos, right? Legos, you can put them together, you gotta make something, right? It takes a while. You notice that? Or have them have little dolls and they interact with each other. That promotes social wellness. Because if you ever have dolls and you have kids play with them and you play with them, you'll hear them talking together. Like, they'll take the doll and be like, oh, I'm mad at you. And the other one's like, oh, well, poop on you, and and they'll have interactions. That's a good thing, because they're working it out here. So when it becomes here, they get to work it out better.
Okay, to alom nun again pen mo. Itate pen video game ko nga kimolu siya nga. Alman masakule kato to wait siya nga ADHD le ADD akwak sunga na excite alop way ke le chimway ve. Toy mana ki khop khong ipai pi siya nga jong lop nam lo wait siya nga ki khop khong chimway ve. Mo toy chai lom nun banggen yam chile. Electronic device game khong sa nga drawing khong Lego khong kimol sakle. lung doi kisin nahi to changa zong a khwa ko zong a khan ding banga khang cheve
But
in
hold on, I must say is that you just can't give a piece of paper and some pens to your kids and be like, draw. Okay? You have to interact with them. You have to show them how to do it. Okay? Like the teacher didn't sit there with your kid and be like, hey, cut out this and do that. Okay, go ahead and walk away. No, they had to literally show them how to do it. Okay? So you might have to become crafters yourself and little drawers yourself. And I don't care if it looks like a stick figure, your kid's gonna love it. Why? Because you're spending quality time with your kid, right? You're doing these things with them, right? You're actually engaging with them, right? This builds up communication. So when they become teenagers and they get that attitude that all teenagers have, right? We all know teenagers that have attitude, right? Or am I the only one? We all know them, right? They will talk to you about stuff. They'll come to you, hey, you know what? My friend, he vapes. What do you think about that? Sweet, let's talk about it. Because I don't want you vaping, right? I don't care what your friend does, but let's talk about it. This is the reasons why I don't want you vaping. This is what's going on. These are the health crisis things on that, right? You want to have them engage with you. They'll be more trusting if you spend them when you're little doing these things and drawing and doing Legos, right? The Legos, they kind of look like that, stuff like that. When they get older, they're going to trust you more. They're going to come to you more. They're going to talk to you more. Okay?
Cái chạy ta tế bên lại đal lệ lại cũng pe gieo lâu din amao to lim khong soi pi ding to bên hun zat pi hi pa nai ve to hi le na ta teu to na kal pe nu thei lo kal ana ki bol ding ngai ve to ai chang ong khang no chang wa na khat pe pe alo ma gwalwa aum chang a o kalom ten zana te mo chi to ko zana te pa hoi lo dan cha gen thei ve mi ngi chi pen hi ken ni chi sanga a hoi lo na thei sak le amau le amount hi lo ding cha khen satule effective zoive thatanga I kham sanga mo to adinga na ta to quality time na zat na nga chu ya anewa pan hun na zat ngai in a I hunu be de you're almost out of time. Yes. Now pang pen apian tu nga mo at birth hi a brain sunga hi pen neuron ki cheve hi pen synapses yeah neuron ina hi pen synapses in akizomai ve to cha kum guk tan pena neuron jong tam piomina synapses jong tam piomai ve hite pen singkung bang hile azungai ve okay azung ki kha ki aina tu ya lang nang hi ve toy mana hi kum guk tana video game khongwa akimol mol le hi synapses in neuron azat lo khem pe uchu ama ale ma obsolete ai ve toy changa 14 years changa tom zo ta mo toy mana 6 years tana pe neuron tamatamai ve ayanga 14 a chu hi azat lo khem pe nu obsolete toy changa to mai ve so toy mana itate pen kumguk chiang tana hi ali la koi kong ding ei ve swimming pai pi ding playground a pai pi ding park a pai pi ding museum a pai pi ding let them be curious okay feed their curiosity athei ut khem pe adot ut khem pe nu le pa kal jong dot le gen mai ding bangang ya mi chile hi kumguk tana a neuron te azat tam za zau chu khangai ve azat lo chu ya be ei ve it's not used so it's useless okay toy mana Australia te na 5 years now pang som nga 5 years now pang som nga ma bets ni lawai ve wa hi te pen anule paten nai kal khat guak video game ki mol pal ni khata adang hem be pen they go to playground they do different things this group no control parents let them play video games as long as they want every day after 5 years when they do a research on their brain ni khata da kal khat video game ki mola with different activities te a brain cell hi te pen a neuron te pen golzo zong tam zoi ve ayanga video game gwa ka ki mol te chu a video game gwa ka siamuna social skills siam lo communication siam lo video game lo a ki zat lo teng chu it's deleted okay toy mana itate aneu la ya chu hun tampi zat pi ding when they turn 13 14 15 they're going to have their own friends leave them there. Trust them, okay? Kumsom le lis kumsom le nga pa ko chu amaw alo magwal apay te tong kitho asak ta ding muang ding before that to ama chu and li la koi ding ibe. Okay? A brain ho itaka aki develop na nga hi pen neuron agolzo alim kala kina hi synapses in mo. Hi chu I brain pa hin khwak ta hi chi pen hi neuron tamaki jang ting pen khwak ta hi le le. Then it's already, we're supposed to end it now, yeah.
Actually, I think we're supposed to end at 1:30. But does anyone
Yeah,
have
they
any
want to end
questions?
1:30? Any questions then? Let's take question and we don't want to start any.
And you can give us specific questions like, hey, my kid is doing this, what about this? Or, hey, when me and my husband, we get together, this is what happens, or something. It could be specific too.
Okay, time is precious. I'm going to see also. If you have any question, just ask me, okay? Hipen ikwa kay ve frontal lobe mo. Itate frontal lobe pen kumsom nila nga chin nga pitching panay ve. But frontal lobe, what does it work? It does like the movement, intelligence, personality, reasoning, behaviors, memory. Okay? Hiteng pen frontal lobe na sepay ve. So we need to help our kids to grow this. Okay? Video game guag kimolo le hipen akan dinga khang lo ive.
My kid is 9 years old and she still doesn't know how to play Minecraft because I've never introduced it to her. I never bought it for her. I never gave it to her. She still doesn't know how to play. What's that other one? There's another one that kids are playing like crazy. Roblox. She does not have any Roblox at all because I've seen some of those games in Roblox. Not good for little kids. Just letting you know. So because her cousin had it and I looked and I'm like, oh, heck no, nope, I'm taking that. They didn't like that very much, but I took it. So yeah, like she doesn't do any of that stuff. If she plays a video game, I'm just gonna be honest, it's on the weekend and it's like not every weekend at all. And it's with us and it's old school stuff. I mean, when I was a kid, I had a GameCube, right? I'm talking GameCube. I'm talking retro. Yeah, she plays GameCube, and it's like Mario Brothers. So it's nothing high tech. It's nothing like it is today. Like, she doesn't play any of that stuff, and she's perfectly healthy. You could see she's playing. She's communicating with everybody. She's not twitching. She's not growing a fifth arm. You know what I mean? Like, she's perfect. So it is doable.
So we respect your time. Nahunuong za tak sa kungina 1:30 tan si 1:30 manungin mo. Any questions? If you would like to continue, we can continue another time, God's willing. We'll pray about it. We really enjoy coming here. We feel like we are part of the family, okay? We never feel we are stranger here. So any question last? If not, we are done.
Bottom line would be like spend time with the kids, not with the video game, this and that. And another one would be...
Or you can even, like, to be honest, let's say your son's really involved in a video game, right? Like Minecraft, okay? I don't even know what it looks like, to be honest. So anyway, but let's say he's really involved in it. Then say, hey, teach me.
Let's play together.
Because that's like his world, his thing, right? You're just like, hey, teach me. Show me what to do. Oh my gosh, your kids will love to teach you. I'm just going to be honest. They want to teach you. They want to show you. They want to have you a part of their lives. Like, that's why all the time when they're little, they're like, mommy, look at me. Mama, look at this. And I'm like, what the heck is that? I don't even know what it is. And really, I'm not really interested. Okay, because as an adult, you're not really interested in little kid stuff, right? But you act interested. Why? Because it's their world. It's them. You love them. So act interested and be like, whoa, My Little Pony, that's awesome. Even though I don't really care about My Little Pony. But she does. So because she does, it's important to me. So whatever your kids are involved in, do it with them. Okay? With them. Okay? And that's the one thing I notice is that when kids are really involved in something, like the parents don't take time to be with them in it. So then they start looking at things that are bad and things that are wrong, okay? Like, I've noticed some kids, like, that are playing on their tablets, and every other word is F this, F that, F this, but the parent doesn't know English, right? So the parent's like, la, 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 I'm fine, everything's good, and the kid's sitting there, and he's like, F this, F that, and I'm like, what the? Hold on a second. Watch it with him. See it. Like, there's many times I'm like, hey, you know, your kid is watching something not good. And they're like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, get involved. Be with your kids. Look at what they're looking at. And you know what? Most of the time what they're looking at is not good. I'm just going to be honest. So you're going to have to wean them off of it. Like, don't cold turkey. It's like an alcoholic. It's an addiction. It's an addiction, okay? It's hitting the brain. Oh, the brain's gone. The brain center, that's the same as addiction and alcohol and drugs, okay? So that's why they're so addicted to their phone. That's why some of us adults are addicted to our phones, right? We need to know the comment that somebody said on Facebook, right? That's why we get rid of it, so we're not addicted, okay?
Yeah, try to spend a lot of time with your kids before they're 8 years old. After that, it's kind of late. The reason is, after 9 years old, they start their own values and principles in life, so it's very hard to break it. So before that, shape those values, principles in life with them. Okay, so spend a lot of time together. Right now,
but there's still hope. I mean, you could still...
Yeah, you can still do it,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
not like you're
easier
hopeless.
because their mind is kind of easy. Because at that time, they look up you, the father, the mom is knowing everything, the richest person in the world. You know, whatever you say, it's like
it's like gold.
It's like they suck it in. After that, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
The reason why I said is like last week, one of my high school students said that I don't know why my dad tried to connect with me. He didn't spend time with me for the past 10 years. Now when she tried to connect me, it makes me mad. Kum som masanga chu kapan hunong zat pi ngei lo mo tua chu ke class 10 hitan thuong hil dek changa kalunga hangi ti. Yeah, she doesn't want to accept. So anew lai wa tungman ni the na tungman Layman, okay, layman chu anem la ya u tu ta ki bol the mo atak changa hak sai ve. It's like that. Kids are like that. When they're young, it's very easy to shape. When it's get older, it's harder. So let's spend a lot of time when they're little kid. Yeah, keep holding him, connect with him, her. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. We really need to stop.
Yeah, we need to stop. Oh, wait, he does have a question, though.
Oh, okay. Question? Okay. Yeah.
Well, it's just like somebody.
Hold on.
It's that's why it's an addiction. That's why I'm trying to explain it to you guys as an addiction, because it's just like when you give somebody that's an alcoholic, you give them this much alcohol, right? That's like the 10-minute thing, right? They want more, right? They always want more. They want more to the point that they're like, what's that? You know? That's how much they want. So, of course, your kids are going to want more and more TV. So, if you limit it to 10 minutes, like I limit my daughter, she's 9 years old, though. She is not 2 years old, okay? She is 9 years old, so I limit her to an hour on Saturday, an hour on Sunday. When the hour is done, I tell her, hey, go read a book. Or, hey, play with your Legos. Or, hey, go outside and play. Guess what? There's sunshine. Do something else. And she has all these options, and literally she'll go and do it. And sometimes she'll be just sitting there and she'll be like, Mama, you want to play a game with me? And I'm like, sweet, let's do it. If I got time, yeah, I'm definitely going to play a game with you. So we'll play a game together, and sometimes we'll all go together, and of course, he always wins.
Okay, your question is very good. Your kids know your soft spot already. Your kids are very smart. Natate mo anuhi apaya azo ba izo thei hinweve. Toy chang 10 minutes na tiju 10 minutes na call saglo 5 minutes na be lab le chu. Nata ina he knows how to play with you. Nata nong tuzo hin taiwe. So you have to be very consistent. Let be the bad dad first. But they'll see that you mean what you say, and they'll start respecting you, okay?
And what's good with that is you have to do the consistency,
Yeah,
right?
consistency is
So when you say 10 minutes, let it be 10 minutes. Let your word be your word. Do not go back on it because they're sitting there, wait 5 more minutes. I said 10. There's many times that I have left as the bad guy, okay? Because I'm like, no, I said 10, it's going to be 10, okay? But she also knows that when I tell her I will be there, I'm there. Does that make sense? So whatever happens out of my mouth, if I tell her, hey, you know what? Tonight, we're going to get some ice cream. Okay, that's like something she likes, right? We're going to get some ice cream tonight. But that's tonight, and this is this morning, right? She knows no matter what happens, she's getting that ice cream. Why? Because when I said 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes. When I say let's get ice cream, we're going to get ice cream. Does that make sense? So even in reward, she knows to count on my words. Mm-hmm. So when I tell her, now this relates to the spiritual realm, when I tell her that God exists, even though she can't see him, even though she can't, like, he's not physical, he's not sitting here like this, right? Even though she can't feel him, right? When I tell her that God exists, she can trust that. Why? Because when I say 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes. When I say no, it's a no. It's not a maybe. So when you say no to your kids, don't go back on it. Stay with a no. But if you don't know if it's a no, like let's say you're doing something else, they're like, Mama, I want this, I want this. I'll be like, give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I'll be right back. Just give me a second. Because I don't want to say no, because I have to stick with the no, right? But I don't want to say yes, because it might be something I don't want. So just give me a minute. Okay, let me finish. I finished. Now what do you need? Okay, yes. Or okay, no.
Your kids would play with you right when they're born. Tua kata papa khakwa khasom no. Tuesday chakum khati deve mo. You know what he did lately? Today na tomo. Chide. Ama ale ma chum kipuk sakai we alu to lei. He thought that I would be sorry for it. I was like, what? I just walk away. Now he stopped doing it.
Yes.
Yeah. Ni thum ni libang to da na bolai. Amali mali adeka chu.
And he would hit his head hard.
We all said like, don't pick him up. Nobody pick him up. So we walk away. Now he stopped. Apa umawa chu nule pa un control som kinu na tatin. Go katao Trinity hile kata papao hile. After 3 months, we don't get up during the night. Okay, we set a schedule for them. We send them to bed at 8. Okay, and then we feed around 1-ish. Then we wake them up around 5. Tuaki kala chu akaale. We don't pick them up because it's attention seeking. A diaper akota chu. She won't die, okay? Those diapers are really good. It lasts the whole night. So we don't change diaper in the middle of the night. Why? Nulepan imudi kham lemo. Ithazong zangai ve. To aikile na tateu ka sial ko nga nalak ule. Imut kham lo din atom na nanu pakalu ki he sagdi. Na tate hang wazong kitong tong din ai ve. You're going to argue because of your kids. So you have to set discipline with your kids right when they're born. The first 3 months is because they have a small belly, so you might need to feed them every 2 hours. That's fine. But after 3 months, train them. Train them to be hungry. They won't die. I'm serious. They won't die. They didn't die. Our kids didn't die. Okay?
Our kids are still alive.
Yeah. So that's what we do. We train them at very young age, so that when they grow up, it will not be a problem.
You have to kind of stick with it too.
Yeah.
Because there's times, I'm sorry, I'm a mama, so when my baby cries, I'm like, baby. And I'm like, can I go pick him up? And he's like, don't you get out of bed. Don't you do it. And I'm like, ah. And it kills you, okay, as a parent, because you want to do everything for your kid. But I don't want to hinder my kid either. If I do everything for my child, it's going to hinder them from doing for themselves. Does that make sense? So when they get older, like my daughter wakes up to an alarm clock. She's 9 years old. And to go to school, I don't get her up anymore. The alarm clock does. And she needs to get out of bed. And she knows this. I don't go and get her anymore. I'm enabling her to thrive and to grow and to be an adult. Okay? Even though she's only 9. Believe me, I want to be able to coddle her, but I cannot. Because I want her to be independent. I want her to be able to do it.
As a parent, last, you started. Okay, hold on. As a parent, okay, natau ka mo, the way they cry, you would know it. God give you an instinct. Okay? If it's a sickness cry, your soul would feel it. If it's an attention cry, your soul would feel it. Okay? So don't attend to your kids' cry every time. Just listen to yourself. Is it a pain cry? Is it a sickness cry? If it's a sickness cry, sure, pick them up. Achinat man waka alemo. Napom dinga de iman aka pen. Nu nahi na pa nahi na khansa ding leve. Pasianin tua dinga kizop naung pia. Adiak dia kan nute. Toy mana aka sialo asong lag ding hilo. Kapsak lel ding. Okay? Attention de ilil kong aka ule bang chu. Lag ding hilo. Let them cry. Okay? Because they would learn that, okay, this is not the way to seek attention. The reason is natapapatu natanunu leila ka aka akibuala ade kata de le. Oh boy cha ade pen na pya na pon le mo. Your kid learn right away that whenever I need something, what I have to do is throw myself on the floor. That's what you teach. Okay?
So teaching
if
the
you
negative
don't want your
behavior.
kids to fall on the ground and whine and throw tantrum, then don't attend to that. Your kids would figure out like, oh, this is not the way I get my attention. This is not the way I get what I want. So you as a parents really build the characters of your kids right when they're born. Question? Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. We have to send them to a rehabilitation center.
Rehab.
I'm serious. It's an addiction.
It's an addiction.
It's an
so you
addiction,
have
and
to treat it like an addiction.
Addiction ba nga na ngayon nga. The reason is, i-brain atu, video game, alcohol, drugs, ti temo. Iya aglano maive. Tuama sukaive video game inzong. It's a kind of addict, casino addict iti tezong. To i-brain sunga, at glen kat asukay, chipatu sukaive. Video games zong, phone zong, it's an addiction. It can be different form. So all these kids might need to go through rehabilitation, okay? Video game rehabilitation. To adi achu nule paten de taka discipline na bolungay. Kati hang mo. Last summer, I deal with 4 or 5 family. The kids are in high school. They were so addicted to the game that they play online the whole night. And during the day, they sleep. The parents call me, okay? And I literally have to tell the parents to turn off their Wi-Fi. And the kids throw a fit. They're 9, they're 10th grade, 11th grade, okay? And I said, that's fine. Don't give it. Some of them, I advise them to unplug the Wi-Fi modem and locked it up. It's real addiction. It's a problem. So you guys have to do that. So what you have to do is, it's their generation, okay? We cannot keep them away from it. But as a parents, you are the parents. You have the authority, okay? You have the power. So just shut off your Wi-Fi at 8. No more Wi-Fi. They'll say, I have to do homework, blah, blah, blah. It's okay.
Do before 8 o'clock.
Do before 8. Because your kids are very smart. They'll act like they'll play their game. When you show up, they'll change into their work. And you guys think that they're doing their work. No, they're playing games. So tell them that at 8, you turn off Wi-Fi. No excuse. They'll throw a fit, they'll be mad, that's fine. But if you be consistent is the key. Consistent is the key. If you do that every night for 2 weeks, your kids would get used to it.
I mean, you can also limit too, okay? So let's say your kid does 8 hours a day, okay, of games, okay, or social media or whatever it is, okay? It could be anything on the little screen, okay? Big screen, whatever. 8 hours a day, okay? Now, because we're talking about rehab, right? Because it's an addiction, it hits the same center that meth hits. It hits the same center as cocaine, okay? Alcohol. Anything like that. It hits the same award center, okay, in the brain. So it makes them really happy, okay? So because of that, okay, you need to get it down. Don't cold turkey it, okay, because it's really going to hurt them, okay? So let's think about a little bit less. So let's do around 6 hours a day, okay? Set a time at night, 8 p.m., off. Everything's off, okay? You can't, like, you can even take their phones, whatever, put their phones underneath your mattress or whatever and sleep on them. You know what I mean? Like, make sure they take it away. Then go to 4 hours, okay? Then go to 2 hours, okay? Now this is this is normal, right? So you would implement this or put this into process maybe for 2 weeks, okay? Then you're gonna do this for about 2 weeks. Then you're gonna do this for about 2 weeks. Then you're gonna get to a point of 1 hour a day, okay? Then you're gonna get to finally where my daughter is, which is like 1 hour for Saturday, 1 hour for Sunday. And guess what? The rest of the time, they have to do their homework, okay? Now, when it comes to homework stuff, why don't you chill with them? See what they're looking at, see what they're getting at, see what they're doing. Does that make sense?
So when you wind out from 8 hours to 6 hours, those 2 hours, engage them with drawing or art or some activities. When it's 4 hours, do some Lego with them, okay? Don't
Build
just
something.
say, cut off and then let them sit in the couch and bored. No, let them do something so
Go
that their
play
brain,
soccer with them.
so
Go
that the other
do
part of
something.
the brain will work, okay? So replace it with something. It's like kind of a rehab, okay?
Play cards with them.
yeah.
Do something with them.
Replacing the time with another.
Yes,
something
there we
else.
go. Yeah.
So they're not sitting there going, oh my God, what do I do now?
Yeah.
My question would be like, so far we go with a normal life.
Uh-huh.
What's a normal life?
Means a child of normal or whatever it is.
Drink water.
We have a child differently able. We have a child differently able. And
What's differently able?
we have here also. They are always. We have a daughter, Mercy. She is differently able, but her mind is works well, everything. The things that physically she's something like that. In that case, we control.
Are you talking about Mercy? That
Yeah, I'm talking about our daughter, Mercy. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like she is differently able, but her mind is so active, and she's wise enough. She will still have me in our family.
Yeah.
But others are there. Then how do we handle it?
Others are there. So who are you trying to handle? The others?
Means,
Or are you trying to handle Marcy?
for Wi-Fi, internet, everything. And then others, they don't well.
Now, Marcy is a different case. I mean, she needs kind of like the thing to even communicate sometimes. You know what I mean? But she has been known to paint and draw, that kind of stuff. That's what I've seen. I've seen it online. That was pretty sweet. So she's actually doing other things, but she also uses that to communicate. So, I mean, it's not like she can be like, yo, what's up? I'm over here. Does that make sense? So she has to communicate somehow. So that's okay for her to use the tablet. I mean, she communicates that way as well. But like regular kids don't, like my kid doesn't communicate through a tablet. Does that make sense? There's a difference in that. Yeah, there's a difference.
question earlier. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You totally forgot. Okay.
You called her out, man. She's nervous.
Before you say about the husband and wife, it can be, the relationship can be hindered by the children.
Yes.
So how is that possible? I mean, you say to have a close relationship with a husband and wife, it makes one. Sometimes there can be a problem from the in-laws or from the kids. So how is from the kids?
How is from the kids? Okay, it could be the way you guys parent, number one, okay? Because say you guys are not on the same page. Let's say your kids play on the tablet and your husband come home and said, hey, pasak tao, enough. And then he said, and the mom said, oh, no, he just play, let him play. And then the dad said, okay, I said stop it. Why do you, then you guys can start argue about it. So because of kids, you can easily argue.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense? Do I give you a good example? You guys are not on the same page.
You guys have to make rules and I know that she only gets 1 hour on Saturday and 1 hour on Sunday, okay? And I kind of set up that rule without even really asking him, but he already knows because I communicated to him. Does that make sense? So when it comes to kids and stuff and child raising, you guys both have to be on the same page. If you're not on the same page, it's going to be hard. So you have to come up with rules. Okay, she only gets the tablet during this time. Okay, we know this. Okay, cool beans. Now, hold on. What about when it comes to academics? What do we do to reward her when she does well? What do we do when she does bad? How do we punish? Okay? Now, I'm saying all this with Trinity because I've had her for 9 years. I'm not saying anything for Swan David yet because he's too young, okay? So, but it even comes with, academics, not for him, but discipline for him, yes. Because what do we do when he flips out? We ignore him. That's what our thing is, okay? If he cries in the middle of the night, and we know that he's not hungry, he's just wanting to get up and get everybody up, no, we ignore him. We let him do his thing. But we have this communication that we know that that's the rules of our family. Does that make sense? So your rules could be different, but it should be still with discipline and still with consistency.
You have to have kind of a sign language to your husband and your wife because your kids would try to manipulate you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to do some kind of facial expression because our
daughter
knows that I'm softer than my wife.
Oh,
okay?
yes.
When my wife said no, it's a no. But when I get home from work, she would come straight to me, Papa,
can I have some candy? And she already asked
Mom
me,
already said
and
no.
I said no.
So I
But
walk in, and
he doesn't know I said no.
So I walk in.
I'm over here.
I know that why my daughter approached me right away, right? I feel that something is wrong. So I'll look at her. And if she give me signal no, I say no, your mom said no. So it's a no.
Yep. Or he'll even say, go ask your mother.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the worst. Go ask your mom. Crap, she already said no.
When you do that, you teach your kids to respect the mom, okay? Let's say the mom said no, and if I said, oh yeah, okay, get one, okay? We're gonna argue. And at the same time, I taught my daughter that your mom is nothing, I'm the boss, we can run over her. Does that make sense? So, yeah, natilu na to again. Natanu natation kuapen zo ba izo chiong thei hin weve. Okay? Toi changa anu kyanga chusen na nangen na anun i chi. Kay pen na sem na pan tungina katanunun ong ba papa chusen kanai thidiam che kena nuen kay ve anun achile okay? Nanun nangen khiniam nanun bangchi. Nanun i achile i chi. Anu to same page he khat khaya na kiule mo na tateu na anu za tak lo ding sin sak nei vewa ke apana thu ka nei hin ken ka chile na nu gen chu bang ma hi lo chi hil nei vewa na ta kyanga indirectly. It's the same thing. If the husband said no, the wife should support it. If you don't support and if the wife help the kids to get what they want, anun chu napa chu I machai poi. Ken he katile he ai zenge ti na ive. Okay? So as a husband, you guys need to communicate. Eye communication, because your kids would create trouble. Your kids would affect your husband and wife relationship. So you guys really need to be on the same page. Okay, we need to stop. We like it, but we need to stop. Thank you so much. Yeah, good for the day, yeah. Oh, maybe.
Tôi nhớ cho
so
kinh neo khát moderate căn bỏ đan điều không đội tán na, vì sự piang lên cái gông lầu diện đó. Tôi in closing bỏ nó điều pastor papa kan pi masangin. Tôi ni program nôm na sát chiến nào vâm. Okay. Zildo kan ni tisi cái phát lắm cái khut đông một tê. Cái tao này. Lúc thiêng sẽ đi kamit mo na dang kisay do iti si kaya pa rin khut dombo kamit mo na kaya tamta kahe na kahe do ale ka bol phat long kisay do nai ti wala khut dom kilute ge ke pa me na adom lo ta bol phat kisay do lo hin te. Okay, I heard that assistant pastor pawang hin wifi a phone a control jing hin na ana to na para set atila jita te so anu yang messenger tip saja. Aku tilau siapa messenger lah, ek lili dah. Apa lah ikat? Itu yang kabel no mana lah. Tapi ipiti bol ham zil ngai dah ni. Kanu ke kita jam nalai ke. Kini nak kabel ham kat cuy le. Saat ini hitu ahi reduce har bola kabel ham naik tanah. Nak bol hiel biasa je. Saat tu asyik cuna babysitter ki mangkha so kho dan so. Ai tahi ta reduce ki bola hi. Maybe half a week. Half of the week the bang hi tai. Ki ham bola hi ta jang hi ta no to tho ana chate. Ki pa min hi chi hi ki bol ki le kanome ti va mo Kile, continue le kati si kutungu te. Wakam le, nukim beli nam kimon atu na kut kita mo Yeah, most of us, all of us want to continue this. So yeah, we'll have a plan, and then we'll pray about it, and then set a schedule. No mama kipa pina kami bengkin mo te. It's a great honor to have them in our midst. If we are going to engage somebody else for this program, it may not be easy. Na by loading he sumle pai dan pidi jong le. To hi pidi jong le refreshment hi golang khai mele golang he khubin amani graduation ki pan zala tu ni refreshment ka po do landing a hi ati lona hi bulletin da jong chuna ki sein but mi hong phal ngan hi jang le han tu ni dia hong phal palun men le nu panai kimin amani po do ding khialin a graduation ki pa pin tu ni refreshment azawa pa jong so jaw na in yang le to ba na di pa na an po do hin ki panan ko bengu te Iham ta manin pada manu mahirong le chun la pastor pa hong din do phala ma hong kipitawin tin na tuin adang si pastor pa le fellowship minister pa ma pha lantin achai na chu assistant pastor pan taw na hin manding sting le next Tuesday ya pastor te family Tuesday para in lang chi ding hojong taw na hin man pi in tin pa kham le nu kim balia ding hong tawin tin aban program ading hong tawin tin iti chu achai chan assistant pastor pa khora kan pi do tai pa
Ale kipa ma majingin me pi ho yong thanom ta na panji win na chungwa kipa thu kan se ne he tu ne oi pu คำเละไอปีกิมินไอหิลนะโหฮีสนาละดังกาโจโจโลเฮกูสนาอิสนาสางาจูกูบันตั้มเป็นไบเบิลอาจูอิจาเตหินจาเตพักนดิ่งอาจจะมอนไอหิลละหิจนกิปามอามาเจงินไอปีจงเละเขาบุงินจงก็คิดหัวหน้าว่าจนกิปานจาลาเมเมนโตขัดปีดิ่งตีหินฮีมังบ่อยนั่นสิมดอดมิดเบกก็มิดเบกชูแล้วมังบ่อยสิมดอดสักทีนี้
อีกโอลทาง Certificate of Appreciation Peniel Baptist Church proudly presented Thang Khan Kham Guanom and Kimberly Hohansi Guanom Gilead Counseling Center for leading teaching and guiding parents through a parenting class on May 15, 2022. Dari Tulsa, Oklahoma, Reverend Dr. Sekam, Tau Thang lead pastor.
Amen. He, oi pi kim le kam hungin tin, sikit le chong he hobungin yes man dengan dia ini. Amen.
Lungdam kipake ina thungen nang phok leu te tu June 16 cha jong Kansas City te nong samumo tua topic ma in ai mi sunga hi tom ki aware time a hoi hin nung April ni lil nia chu full life church ten ong invite dak kali ka again to cha ong invite no nun me ni khat nia chu ka bol ki ku hin it's something that we have to learn, but we want God to use us. Mo, kabol kempe pasyan min than na dia de kai chana thunget na pol pimiten jong na phok denon jong nge nge.
Kami ko deputy. Ya chu oi pu kham le oi pi kim ki pa ma in Peniel Baptist Church ni ngai lut na ho zalin na chungwa ki pa thu sei jo lo kan sei na ban le hobung in hiche program an ki gong hi pathianin pen le chian ki hi jong le lol hin na pi win tu nin a ki chai ta in lo pi na pathin pi win he hiche thu ngai yo si le hiche a hung yo si pathin nin e ho iza ho hi in sungu le isa te wadinga ga su do na le in sung num no pakika aboy na tamta ho jong aboy lo na dinga isip do thei chi na ding win athan pathin in phat thei bo pi win tin cha ti ho hi ken jong ka fu na tu la electronic asanta ji hin kana to na mun hi jong le pung ku pung so mai le wifi ko ma hin kanu wa se ka ha pia adang si chu kanu wa se ka on pia dang si chu ka tha ji aya he akala hen kanu yong ko amut thelo ri phala bona ka tha ji ta hi chu control ngai hi nai cha te eat pin hi ya chu ya ta le jana hi ke wangin pung so ma wala he le wifi ka tha aji yong ma hi jan le thi tha tam ta hung su the hi ne ya chu tam ta jana hi thil phalo tam ta hung su the ya jana kyong ka tha ying ji hi ke yong ka tha ama ho jong ve lo kin yong ka ve lo hi ka lup jing hi ya chu wifi ka bon wa ko op su ke wa ka lup jing wa la no ma nu ma hi na ka nu wing kia chom khat bi ha tang te chom khat ai hi sao khat hi ha lu ji ke chu chom khat ati wa chu ke yong chu sei ba na ka cha de la ka ji te iki cha na pe chu chom khat yong la ka tha ka le a thai ta no on na ti lo wai ta che ya chu pa ti ho jang hin tham khat i hon jang james hin ma yu si hen hin electronic engineer hin james na pa ti ho thi lo yu sin james ne ki ko wa james na ko ma ne ki bor sa di kyong ka cha pa in ka pass food a hek a hi ne ka cha pa lin pan ka pass food Apple ID abona hek abola ka password yo se change abola garage door camera abana wifi op na on yo se so yop le iwet le jan le hum ki on kita anu luk nung la hum ki on kita so ai je pha na so chapong ho hi electronic la nga asang in na ki mo zo lo ai ja so ai le nang la ke ka sa je pha na he ken jong hardware la nga ka tha ki dai ta ne hi Wi-Fi อ่ะคุณWi-Fi จะ on ยังไงวะงาWi-Fi จะกี่ on ดิมาโฮเวนอาจะกี่ on ให้ยังไงว่า Wi-Fi จีโลดิงก็ถากกี่หน่อยนี่เราก็ถากินแหละอันนู้ก็มาเส้นกำมินโจนี่พี่ซ้ำตาเลยกับป้าน่ะบอกให้กินยงก็ไม่บอกทูๆเลยดีกินโจกับป้าน่ะบอกให้ก็เฮ็ดทูๆเลยดีกินโจอยากจะแค่นี้ป้าใจตายก็คิดเดียวเราในหินไอ้วางจนก็เสียงโน้มจูก็คิดเดียวที่จูอีจ้าเตะพัดได้งานจนหนุ่งเย็นน่ะอันตากี่เสียงไงยี่จนนู่นละป้าเตะกี่ถูดิวเห็นกี่ป้ามาจริงเสียคำเลยไอ้ปีเข้มอินทุงไงตาอดีเสนานู่นละป้าคิดถูตัวดิ้งที่จุน่ะเฮียจูขัดอินบอลตั้งแต่ขัดบอลหินขัดบอลเลยทีเดียวเฮียจูจ้าเตะจนอากินเนี่ยเพดิ้งป้าจูอีเดียเราด้วยนี่ที่ช่วยเยจุนพี่ยองเลยตัวนี้เห็นพระใจในตาจีเห็นตาหนึ่งเห็นดิ้งก็ติงอันเนี่ยนั่นดิ้งอันเนี่ยนั่นดิ้งเลยไอ้กี่ขันโดนั่นดีไว้เยจุนกี่ป้ามาจริงเงินตัวนี้เฮ้จันกีโปรแกรมมันฮอลบ่อยน้ำเลยว่าใจท่าไอ้ใจสะจีโอวินปฏินิทางว่าวินอาบานคิดลงเลยโปรแกรมมันกี่บูน่าหิเลยอ้อยปีคำอ้อยปีกิมละอ้อยปีคำมินลุงเสียตานี่หุ่งปีคิดดีวินปะกายมันกันเตรียมอะไรนะเฮ้จังเก่งตาวนะจ้อมจันอ๋อเฮงอ๋ออะไรตาวนะดิ่งเที่ยวสิบวันดิ่งหูดิ่งเก่งตาวนะดิ่งกันเตLet's pray. Ngay lúc na dim set kapau pathin. Nalung sit na kitang ta kasangawin. Hitabang nula pa. Pum ni hitalawa. Pum khat iding hinati na ohi athanei ja sa jalu na ko ma ki pathu kasi ne he. Nu pa pum khat a hi lam helawa. Thumop in sung langa kun han lang chati akun hu jong le. Ai lo khulai akun hu jong le. Nu pa ki kalat pum khat a hi avelu helawa thumop ki da thumop phalo ho an ki la na ku na in sunga nu pa ki ka boi na tam ta su yong amin he jong le chu hi su lo wa ma ba na nang nu pa ki kala ki lung sit na le ki khotu na nu pa ki ti pum ni hi la pum khat din na ti bonga nu pa yo se pum khat ta ka din wa cha ti ho le in sung ka wai pu the na di win a tha in na thu hi kalung thêm sung wa su ging ding na ko makata win he tu ni chimuna kun hum ki khando ki tawing ka ting hapta lunga hi na tongte na thamte sikul kai ina ho jong le ka na chi wa nangin khatcha nei pi di win ka hin naw la ka ta saw ka thagaw zo sin khuda kan pi ro na he hapta lunga nei weng bit di win na khuda kan gi wap sa ki no na he tu na oye pu khamle oye pi khim nangin hichan gyanan man cha na chunga ki pa thu kesen ma bana program ho jong kitang ta na man cha ding yong na ko makataw pi kin ne he chukel le tu ni hitabonga ka su piteniu tha thang le mi min lol hin na nei chu hona jong lopi na cha nang kan pe kin ne he ma bana jong ma ni hin khwa na to sa nom ho pakai nangin na het sa ho bor sa jom jinga lol hin na tam ta na pi jom ding na ko makataw ne he a lol hin sa pathin nang hi ji in tunin lopi chan nang kan pin ki pa na jala an kong sip da ki got na hona amani sip sangin ken sip pingata naomi marsinu la pain pakai hichan ge ya ki phalna jala an kong an sem hon ho jong hi nang ma jala hi jalen na ko ma ki pa thu ka se ne he an sungu phat thai bon te dam lu dam na phat thai bo in ang ki lui do dang an jong hi ane jo sitinga dam theina ama hodinga mabana na lopi phon an so sa dingin thangwa pum na khudan than do in kapakai je so minen katawen he amen